أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على سيدنا شفينا حبيبنا مرشدنا محمد نبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وأهل بيته وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا شفينا حبيبنا مرشدنا محمد نبي الأمي وعلى آله وصحبه وأهل بيته وبارك وسلم اللهم صل على سيدنا شفينا حبيبنا مرشدنا محمد نبي الأمي وعلى أهله وصحبه أهل بيته وبارك وسلم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إلهي بحق فاطمة كور قول إيماني إلهي بحق فاطمة كور قول إيماني إلهي بحق فاطمة كور قول إيماني بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم يا سيدي يا مولاي يا حسين يا سيدي يا مولاي يا حسين يا سيدي يا مولاي يا حسين بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم شاء است حسین بادشاہ است حسین دین است حسین دین پناہ است حسین سردار نداد دست درد دست یزید حقا کے بنا لا الہ الا اللہ است حسین بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نادى علي مظهر عجائب تجده أو أنك في النوائب كل هم وغم سينجلي بعظمتك يا الله بنبوتك يا رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم بولايتك يا علي يا علي يا علي. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Brothers and sisters, today we are going to cover a topic which is the Ziyarat of Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam within one's own self, when and where true inner prayer exists. The reason why we are putting this presentation together is to try to rediscover a hidden realm within my own self, which is connected to the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Most of the people, the Muslims of today, are aware of the form state of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he got Nabuwat, and then he came to Medina Munawwara and he preached for 23 years, and he gave us the Quran and the Hadith and a beautiful way of life. This particular topic talks about the formless state of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and the connection of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam before the advent of creation, immediately after the advent of creation, then how it pertains to my own self, my own body which I have. The reason why we are going into this topic is because if you look at the Muslims of today, the reason I'm addressing Muslims, again, it is for the whole world community of our fellow human beings, is there's a lot of conflict, there's a lot of misunderstanding, mistrust, and we look at outside for solutions. In fact, the world within and the world outside is the same. So if I am at peace with my own self, then I will be able to emanate that peace to the immediate people around me. It could be my immediate family, it could be my friends, it could be my colleagues in my work environment, or the people whom I meet in my daily life. So the simple saying as it goes, I can only give something which I have. I cannot give something to somebody which I don't have. So what the world today craves for is peace and harmony. And this particular topic has been put together so that the seeker understands and inshallah goes about in his own way, in his own life, to get to the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is the abode of all peace and harmony. It takes you to Ya Salam Ya Allah. So inshallah, let's go to the next slide. This is a disclaimer which we put all the time. Again, the ilm that is being dispersed here is uh, directly comes from the kutubs of Allah, and the kutubs got the ilm from Mullah Ali, Mushkil Kusha, and the two hadiths of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ana Madinatul Ilm wa Ali Babuha, Man kuntu Mawla Fahada Aliyun Mawla. These two hadiths are enough for us to understand the exalted state of Mawla Ali, not just as a Sahabi and not just as the son-in-law of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So the darja of all wilayat is with Mawla Ali. So we follow the ilm of Kutubiyat, which comes from Ghaus al-Azam Shaykh Abdul Qadir Jilani radiallahu anhu, and the 11 kutubs of this ummah. A lot of the ilm that is being discussed here comes from Hazrat Muhammad Rahim Bawa Muhyiddin radiallahu anhu, who is also the kutub of Allah. I hope sincerely that this presentation helps one go deeper into one's own self and try to touch the exalted Nur which is already within my own self. And again, brothers and sisters, I am a humble seeker like you, and please pray for me. Any mistakes here or anything which is said wrong is from my own ignorance, and may Allah forgive me for that. The first slide, let's talk about who is a kafir. And this is, the presentation, inshallah, has been made in such a way that we are going to talk about Surah Kafirun as the first slide of the presentation. And the last slide, inshallah, is also going to be Surah Al-Kafirun. So we all know Surah Kafirun very well. قل يا أيها الكافرون لا أعبد ما تعبدون ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد ولا أنا عابد ما عبدتم ولا أنتم عابدون ما أعبد لكم دينكم ولي دين. Now, whenever we read this surah, what comes to the mind, which is the tafsir of the surah, is this is being addressed to a disbeliever. That you will not worship what I worship, I will not worship what you worship, and for you your deen and for me my deen. And this was at the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam for the idol worshippers. And again, brothers and sisters, this is a level of knowledge which at the level of hakikat and marifat going into Sufiyat. And this is beyond the level of Sharia. So at the level of Sharia, definitely, Kulya Hayyul Kafirun does mean that it is pertaining to, the idol worshipper. And the believer is talking to the idol worshipper. But we all know that, we are much beyond that from a maturity point of view. I am not that naive that to understand that a stone structure in front of me is the Lord of the heaven and the earth. So we are going to look at the Sufi explanation of Kulya al-Kafirun here. And the reason why I want to put this as the first slide before going to the topic of Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is there is a certain level of arrogance which Muslims have. I won't say, all of them, but, because, we are on the right path and, and the true path is Islam. And unfortunately, it's very unfortunate that, every religion proposes that, right? If you are a follower of Christianity, they say, okay, Jesus is my savior. And, same thing happens with, whether it's the chosen people, the so-called chosen people, the Jews, or, but, this is where human beings have separated themselves. So this particular explanation here, what we're going to talk about is we're going to talk about uh, incident which happened during the time of medieval India, when the Mughal Empire was there. One of the emperor was, his name was Emperor Akbar, and he was an emperor who had ruled India for a long time, and also he had always looked upon all the people of different religions and sects as part of one humanity, and he achieved a lot because of that, alhamdulillah. So this is a topic, this is an incident that we're going to discuss when Emperor Akbar was in his teens. He became emperor at a very young age. He was in his teens. I don't remember the exact age. I think he was 14 or 15 years old. And this is about Emperor Akbar was reading, learning the Quran from his sheikh, or from his ustad, from his teacher, Abdul Latif. And the surah which was being discussed on that day was Kul Ya Ayyuhal Kafirun, which is Surah Kafirun. And Emperor Akbar, because he was put into a situation by Allah at a very young age where he is his father himself was an emperor, so he inherited the kingdom and he had to mature faster. So, he asked Hazrat Abdul Latif, his ustad, that, Ya Sheikh, what is the definition of kafir when he went through this Surah Al Kafirun? What does the non-believer mean? And Hazrat Abdul Latif, his ustad, was such an elevated soul, mashallah. May Allah increase his darja. He said, instead of giving him the answer directly, he said, once you pray your, one of your ritual prayers, the five prayers which we Muslims pray, then you come back and tell me, come back to me, and then I will ask you some questions, and you will have the answer to your question about who is a kafir. So that was the evening time. Next day morning, Emperor Akbar, again, he's a young boy, he's a teenager. So he slept through during the time of Fajr. He did not get up. He got up after sunrise. So he did not pray Fajr. So he did not went to his ustad and tell him that, tell him that he prayed. So, basically he went back to the ustad when it was Maghrib time. So at the time of Maghrib, the ustad, he goes to see his ustad and says, "Yeah, ustad, I just prayed Maghrib." So ustad said, "MashaAllah, very good. So come sit here. So you asked me yesterday the meaning of who is a non-believer or a disbeliever." So he said, "Yes." So he said, "Okay. So to answer that question, I will be asking you a question, and you have to answer that." So Emperor Akbar said, "Definitely." So he said, and this is ilham, right? Ilham is, you could call sixth sense, or you could call the, the ilm which comes from Allah. The sheikh asked the boy, the emperor, that, during your sujood, which is your prostration in your Maghrib prayer, what were you thinking about? And Emperor Akbar immediately blushed. He was like a little taken aback. He said, "Oh, I can't reveal that to you." He said, "No, no, you have to reveal it to me, because you asked me this question yesterday about who is a disbeliever, and I have to give you the answer. And the answer is in the question that I just asked you." So finally, feeling a little ashamed, he looked down and he said, "Well, I was in sujood and I was trying to concentrate on Allah, and I was suddenly I started thinking about the Meena Bazaar. Meena Bazaar was a main street in the kingdom, and the beautiful girls and the women who walk around there. And I was thinking that maybe I should be there, and enjoying the sight." And he looked down, and this was so beautiful that the emperor is being taught a lesson by his sheikh, that it is not the Hindus or who are idol worshippers, so-called idol worshippers, and it's not true, because I have met with you know um, Hindu yogis who are at as high level as the Sufis of today in the Islamic spirituality, and they don't do any idol worship. I never seen that. And maybe at a lower level, and we're going to talk about this thing. So and the reason I'm saying this thing, I brought up this thing, is we have to get out of the notion that we are the believer in one God and all that. Definitely we are the believer in one God. tawheed and all that. But the tawheed is not the basic tawheed of worshipping Allah as an object who's in the heavens, and I am the subject who is worshipping the object. And that is the whole crux of this presentation of how to get to the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Inshallah, brothers and sisters, I'll try my best I can. So the point is the Sheikh at that point comes back and says, this is in Urdu and I'll translate. He says, "Jo afaq mein gum hai, wo kafir hai." But that's when Emperor Akbar said that, I wish I was he was in sujud and he was thinking about the beautiful woman or the girls in Meena Bazaar, right? So he said, "Jo afaq mein gum hai, wo kafir hai." Now, what is afaq? Afaq is a place where the sky meets with the earth. That's the horizon. And it's always beautiful. People go to the beach, they want to see the sunrise or the sunset, and they're mesmerized with the beauty, right? So the sheikh is telling his disciple, the emperor, that person who is completely mesmerized with the creation, the horizon, the beauty, he's a kafir. Now, from a Sufi perspective, the salik or the sheikh takes the student, step by step into zikr ilahi, zikr of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, salawat, and his entire nafs, his being becomes a zakir. He's completely in the state of zikr. Now, when you reach that high level, the definition of kafir is those moments in between your zikr when you are forgetful of Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You are in the state of kufr in between those states. So that means that the person whose heart is not connected to Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is a kafir. Again, there's different names of Allah, Ilah, Paramatma. The path to merge with the divine could be nirvana. It is called as moksha. It is called as sufiyat, illallahu. So what the name means nothing, right? What it actually means is that how much of God consciousness do I have in my daily life, when I go to work, when I am in my school, when I am with my family, how much consciousness, conscious I am about the Supreme Being, to the point that from a Sufi perspective, every breath that you take in is the gift of Allah. It is coming from the Qudrat of Allah. The breath that you take out is coming from your own self, from your nafs. So if you can't even take a breath in by your own energy that you have, it's a gift from Allah. Then your whole existence, every moment, Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat talks about the 43,000, I think 242 breaths that a human being takes in a day. You can't even exist, right, without the breath for a long time. For example, a person can exist without food for 20 days. He can exist maximum without water for 3 days. But how long can a man exist, human being exist without air? How long? 30 seconds, 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, you're done, right? So that is the amount of dependent we are with the Qudrat of Allah. But how many hours or how many moments in a day do we really go and contemplate and meditate on the Zat of Allah and do the salawat on Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? So all the states in between there where I'm completely mesmerized, definitely, I have to go to work, I have to go to university to study and all that as a student. That's all part of my life. But where is my heart? And I'll give you a beautiful explanation of this thing. For example, suppose a young lady just gave birth to a child, and the child is still feeding on his or her, his mother's breast milk, right? And the mother, and it's a toddler or an infant. The mother may be at home. She must be cooking food. She must be, washing clothes. She must be doing all this household work. She's gone to the supermarket, but 7/24 behind her, in her subconscious mind, her thought is about her child, right? So that is what's being questioned here. So Kul ya hayyul kafirun, who is a disbeliever? For the Sufi, the disbeliever is not somebody who is outside. I really, for the Sufi, the biggest problem that I have in this world is my own self. So instead of looking at the external world and trying to point fingers on others, look at your own self and say, what is the state of kufr within me? And that is what we're going to explore, through, the different states of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the formless state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam within my own self, within my own being, inshallah. We're going to immediately jump into a hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One of the Sahabis asked Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, are you ahad? And again, I've covered this thing in a lot of topics before, in our YouTube channel, and you can go, it's about true meditation, who am I, what am I, Man Kuntu Mawla. You can go and visit, Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. There are a lot of presentations which have been put together. It talks about, Surah Al-Ikhlas and Kul Hu Allahu Ahad. And Ahad, again, it does not mean that say Allah is one, which is a very, very incomplete meaning. Ahad means oneness. That means the soul within me, the Nur Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which we are discussing today, today's topic, is one with Allah. There's no separation, there is no distinction there. So the question that Ashabi asked is to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is, are you Ahad? And the beautiful answer of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was, Ana Ahmad Billah Mim, which means I am Ahmad, but without the meme. And this is very deep, brothers and sisters, that Ahmad is the name of Allah. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is in the heavenly realm. We all know about it. And when you add meme in front of Ahmad, it becomes Muhammad, and which is the name of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is in the earth, where he's praised the most. We keep on giving salawat. If you look at the earth, right, 7/24, the azan is going around the earth all the time. If it is night time in the northern hemisphere, it's day in the southern hemisphere, and masajids are giving azan. Similarly, salawat on Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, alhamdulillah, the ummah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is giving salawat on him continuously. Somebody, somewhere, people are giving continuous salawat on Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And so the point is that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, I am Ahmad without the meme. Again, if I remove meme from Ahmad, it becomes Ahad. So within these words, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, sometimes you don't say without, you say things without saying the words, right? So there is hidden meaning in the hadith, indication of the mystery of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He is pointing, this hadith actually, the reply to the question is pointing to the formless state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That's the reason I put this hadith right here. And we're going to go into the deep depth of it. And the next slide itself, we're going to talk about the formless state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is the Ana Ahmad Billah meme, which is Ahmad without the meme, which is actually means Ahad, and from a numerological perspective. Okay, and there is going to be more discussion about it later on. But the point is that the inner self of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is, when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went for Miraj, he reached the abode of that most creation, right? The created universe, which is the material universe. From there, Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam could not go any further. It's Sidratul Muntaha. He said, Ya Rasulullah, this is the abode of the oneness. Only you are allowed to go. Right? So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Ahmad, proceeded into Ahad. Nobody could go beyond that. MashaAllah. So we're going to, and that is where the 5-time prayer was given to us. So we're going to go into the 5-time prayer and talk about all these things, inshallah. Okay. So let's jump straight into the reality of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam from a numerology perspective. And we're going to cover the numbers 1 to 9. So the first state that, and Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat discusses this, I'm going to recite Surah Fatiha for Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat right away. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Amin. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. The reason, the heart just gets overwhelmed by what the Kutub has shared with us. Without the knowledge that he gave us, personally, I would be lost, for seeking answers, which is so difficult to find in today's world. And again, brothers and sisters, as I said earlier, whatever I'm, discussing here from my knowledge perspective, it's like, I have a spoon in my hand, spoon which we eat, right? We eat with, and I'm trying to measure the depth of Pacific Ocean or Atlantic Ocean. So, I'm a jahil, and I'm just trying to share what um, has been revealed by the Kutub, and trying to just um, benefit people so that they can proceed faster in their own spiritual journey. you know so again, let's go into the depth of it. The Annati state, Annati state, Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat said, is the state of oneness. Now this is a state which was the atomless state. Remember, brothers and sisters, I'm talking here about before the advent of creation. It is an atomless state where the center and the circumference are co-located. Now, this is, suddenly I'm putting you, my own brothers and sisters, into confusion here, because, when I think about a circle, immediately what comes is, okay, the circle means there's a circumference and there is a center. Now, how can the center and the circumference be co-located? Which means this is another dimension where the physical universe does not exist. Even physical matter does not exist. And it is covered to a certain extent in the true meditation presentation, and who am I, what am I presentation. But the point is that this is where Allah was alone in within his own self, in his own hamd. Okay, he was praising his own self in own hamd, and the creation did not exist. Okay. The next state that Allah moved to is the Ati state, and we don't know, how many billions and trillions of years Allah was in that state, when there was no creation. And within Allah, this wish or intention was born that I am a hidden treasure, and we will talk about it in the next few slides. But the intention was there that I'm a hidden treasure and need to be known. That intention, immediately after that intention, what emanated, what emerged from the inner heart of Allah, and Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat calls it the Kumbham, which is the inner heart of Allah, is the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And so Allah in his Annati state alone is Alif, and the emergence of the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is the Mim, and Alif Lam Mim. The Lam is the ilm of Kutubiyat. So right there, as the Nur emerged, the Nur asked the question, who am I? And that is the Kutub. That is the question. You and I, we are all in that same realm right now, brothers and sisters. Think about it right now. As we are going through this topic, we are saying, okay, what is the secret here? Now that inquiry is the ilm of Kutubiyat. That is the tafakkur. You go deeper into it. At a deep Sufi level, these secrets have been given. At a Shariat level, absolutely not. Because Shariat level is a very basic level. It's like, I could say that, say I am a student of, science in my 8th grade, so I'm learning science in my 8th grade. Then somebody goes to the 10th grade, he's learning science there. He goes to the high school, he's learning science there. He goes to his undergrad, he's learning science there. He goes to his master's level, learns science there. Then he goes to his PhD level, he learns science there. So even though the topic or the field is science, the depth is much more every time he goes higher and higher. This is similarly the same way. So my point is that we have to reflect on these states. So the first state is where Allah was within his own self. There was no created universe. Everything was within Allah. It is an atomless state because there is no atom. There's no material universe. The second state we said is where the Nur emerged, and this Nur is called this energy which came out of the pure energy which came out of the Nur is called as the Bahrul Qudra, or which is the ocean of power. And this is the ocean which is the inhalation into Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the formless state of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that's one of the reasons, one of the names of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Awwal. This is the third one. We are going right there. The third state is as soon as the emergence of the Nur happened. From this Nur, the creation came into being. So my own soul came from the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The entire 18,000 universes which Allah created came from this Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Unfortunately, the people of today who are connected more to their body and not connected to their soul, for them the material universe is something which is very great. They look up in the sky and they're completely like the Milky Way galaxy and then the cluster of galaxies and the nebula, and then go into supernova, black holes. When you start thinking about that, the monkey mind after some time starts going to a spin, because it can't figure out, right, the light years away distance and all that. And believe me, brothers and sisters, when you go into deep meditation within your own self, Maula Ali said this thing, that the entire 18,000 creation of Allah is as small as the nukat below the letter ba of Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And you do get there to that state where the form state is nothing in front of you. And it's a very beautiful state because the spiritual state is much higher. And unfortunately today, for most of the people, the form state is so overwhelming, and zinat al hayat al dunya, the attractions of the zenith of the world, is the physical eyes is mesmerized with it. So the point is that what we are saying is the first three states: Annati state, Allah in his own Hamd within his own self; Ati state, where Allah has an intention and the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam emerges from the inner heart of Allah. Third is where the creation started. So the creation also, it went through stages. The first thing that happened is the space comes into being. As time and space is created. The first is because the immediately is the time and space. Then the matter comes into being. Okay, so the point is the two hadiths are mentioned here. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, creation is from me. And he also said, I was a Rasul before the form of Adam was created. Form of Adam was created much more later than the creation of the universe. We all know about the story of where Allah, we're going to discuss that when I asked Shaitan, Iblis to bow in front of the formless state, the form of Adam, without any life in it. And Iblis did not bow. And, the whole drama of creation for us started right there. Right. So the point is that, so we have talked about the Annati state, Ati state, and the Awal state, inshallah. So let's go to the next one. Now, and we are talking about the reality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Now that we said, okay, the souls were created. Now you go into the material universe, where we said the time and space is created. Now the material universe is created. The moment you get into the material universe, the entire material universe, 18,000 universe, are made of 4 elements, brothers and sisters. And this is again number 4. Okay, so Awal, Allah was alone. Second, the Annati state, Allah was alone, which is number 1. Ati state, Allah is there and the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam emerges. It's 2, right? And that itself is the kalima. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. La ilaha illallahu Muhammad Mustafa Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The kalma is right there at the second state. The third state is the awwal state where creation just happened, just started. So the world of the souls, the alame arwa, where the world of the souls were created. That is the third state. The fourth is the creation of the material universe started. And this material universe is created, whether it's Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, or any galaxy out there, billions of light years away. They're created from four elements: earth, fire, water, air. The fifth element is space, and we talked about space is needed for the material to exist. Within my own body, brothers and sisters, water reality is there and fire reality is there. Earth, fire, water, air, and ether is within my own self. Now, the water reality is the angelic realm within me. The fire reality comes from jinn. So if somebody gets angry, what happens? The temperature increases, and the our body itself is made out of clay. And Surah Mu'minin it says, وَلَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ مِنْ سُلَالَةٍ مِنْ طِينٍ. Now, Allah has said that He has created this body, the earthly form from clay, from a very purified, pure soil of min teen. Teen is very purified. Allah has refined it. Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat talks about how many times Allah refined this earth. It is not the same clay that you can pick up in your backyard. No, He kept on refining it, and from that He created the physical heart. Now, this heart, because it was created from this purified teen or clay, can carry the angelic light. Brothers and sisters. So this is the secret of that, right? So earth, which was purified by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which was used to create the physical heart. And there is a very deep secret here. When this, so for example, I have a body right now with me, right? And when I die, inshallah, when I'm going to be put in my grave, my body is going to have certain weight, right? So there was a covenant between Mother Earth and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when Allah took the pure soil for creating my own physical heart, right? The spiritual heart is there. We're talking about the physical heart. That physical heart, when Allah was taking that, Allah made covenant with Mother Earth that I'm going to return to you 1,000 times more what I'm taking from you. So literally, brothers and sisters, the weight of my janaza is going to be the amount of soil that Allah took to create my physical heart. When I was born from my mother's womb, the small baby, that physical heart's weight times 1,000 is going to be the weight of my janaza, inshallah. So there's a direct relation there. Okay. So again, just to talk about or make more clarification about the angelic light, which is connected to the water element within our body, and the fire. Suppose somebody gets angry, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Hadith said, ask the person to make wudu. So, and we know that if there is a fire burning somewhere, you can extinguish the fire by two means. Either you throw mud on it or you throw water on it. Either of the two can extinguish fire. And the reason why we know water and fire will never go together, it's very easy. But the reason why earth extinguishes the fire is because the power that Allah has put, the pure angelic light that the earth can absorb. And I would just mention it that when the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came emerged out of the heart of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and when it reached the fourth point where the elemental four elements were created, and then Allah wanted to create the beings, the animal beings. It's a whole kingdom, right? Everything, animal beings. Allah asked, who is going to take the nur? Because He has to use the nur to create the animal beings, the human beings. And earth, fire, water, air, all of these four did not want to take the nur. Finally, earth came up and said, Ya Allah, I will take this nur, but I'm completely impure. I have so much of deficiencies within me, bad energies, and Bao talks about the different 4 trillion forms of energies which are there, unfortunately, which we are in right now today, and that's the reason why we have to go back to our original self, which is going back into the nur, and that's what the discussion is all about. People are not even aware of the nur, let alone to tap the nur within your own self. If I'm not even aware of the nur, how can I tap it, right? So the Mother Earth came and accepted, said, I will accept the nur. And that's the reason we human beings, have the body which is made of earth. The jinns have the body which are made of smokeless fire. Okay, so that's the distinction right there. Now we're going to the number 5. So we covered again, brothers. Number 1, Annati state. Second is Ati state. Third is Awwal, where the souls were created. Fourth is the material universe. Fifth state is once you have now the body, think about it, right? Now the 5 elemental energy bodies existing now at level 4. Now we're going deeper into the fifth state and the number 5, right? This is numerology. We human beings have 5 sense power. We can see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. We can either use this to fulfill our lower desires, pleasures of the world, materialism, and all that, or we can use this for our own spiritual progress. And the same 5 senses can be our best companion to realize my own inner self, or if I misuse those 5 senses, I will never be able to discover the true essence of my own being, because my 5 senses, remember brothers and sisters, these 5 senses, right? The seeing, hearing, smelling, tasting, and touching, they're outbound, right? The physical eyes, they're outbound. The hearing is outbound. The smell faculty is outbound. Taste is outbound. Touch is outbound. And why Allah has given these senses? So that this body that you have can survive in this world. But unfortunately, we human beings have reached a point where we use this 5 sense organs to fulfill our lower desires, and we'll talk about it. And that is one of the reasons why we don't have peace within our own selves, because our true essence, where we came from the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we have no connection with that. That connection is Ya Salam. It is at peace with its own self. So if I can go into my own meditative state and touch that state, brothers and sisters, believe me, I can go on for 1,000 hours, but if you can touch that state, that is the best state that you can be in. All the 5 elemental energies and everything just calms down, because you touch such a high state within your own self that nothing matters anymore. The state of bliss that you have, the happiness, the contentment, you will never get that looking into the outside world. It's within you. You have to take a U-turn and start looking inside. So brothers and sisters, so the next slide I'm going to talk about is, have a look at this slide very carefully. Okay, again, if you start looking from the left hand side, we have the number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We reached up to the 5 elements. And if you look on the side in green, it is written, we've taken number 1 and 8 together, 2 and 7 together, 3 and 6 together, 4 and 5 together, and we say 9 is the state of perfection. Then we're going to get there, because we're talking about numerology here. Okay, so we covered 1, which is Annati state, where Allah was alone. We covered number 2, which is Ati state, where the Nur emerged from the inner heart of Rasulullah, inner heart of Allah, which is the Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Then the third state is Awwal, where the creation started, the world of Alam-e Arwa, where the souls were created of all the created beings. The fourth state is where the 4 elements, earth, fire, water, air, these 4 elements came into being. The fifth state is the 5 senses, right? Every being, not just Me, even a cat has got these five senses. Every being which is alive and kicking has got these senses in a different perspective, right? And if you look at this number here, we are combining 1 with 8, we come to 9. 2 with 7, we come to 9. 3 with 6, we come to 9. 4 with 5, we come to 9. And 9, we say, is a state of perfection. Okay. So again, why we are discussing all these things, we are going back to the hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that I'm Ahmad without the meme, which is Ahad. That ninth state is the state of Ahad, which is perfection. And we're going to get there. So we discussed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, just remember this slide. And I want you to especially focus on 2 and 7. If you see 2 and 7, 2 and 7 are at the level of the heart, right across from the heart. Okay, and we're going to discuss that inshallah. So let's go to the next slide and talk about 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay. So again, just quickly touching back on the five sense organs. If we fast, we fast in Ramadan. We fast by, not giving any, depriving ourselves of food. But there is the fasting of the physical eyes. There's the fasting of the physical ears, the nose, the taste, and the touch. If I make sure that I don't look at something which is haram, I don't hear what is haram, I don't stick my nose into something which is haram, taste something which is haram, sensual pleasures which is haram in any way, right? Whatever is taking towards the dunya. And it doesn't have to be zina all the time, right? It can be any sense of touch, or touching something very soft. Oh, I wish I had this thing, that's also, a sense of touch, right? So when you go away from that, then slowly Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts opening within you your spiritual eyes. There is behind the physical eyes, brothers and sisters, there's a spiritual eyes. Behind the physical ears, there is a spiritual ear. Behind the physical nose, there is a spiritual nose. Behind the physical taste, there is a spiritual taste. Same thing with the touch. And these are higher states of Sufism, which people do experience it. Once you touch that, then you're touching your own inner self, your own essence, not just the physical reality which people are stuck to, and which is a very, very low level of existence. And that's one of the reasons of today, brothers. Even the Upanishad, the Vedas talk about the Kali Yuga. Yeah, Kali Yuga is a yuga where material existence is the supreme. We literally, we are see E equal to mc square. Einstein's formula: energy equal to mass multiplied by c square, which is the velocity of light. We can't even do energy manipulation. All we are doing in this world right now, all the science and technology, is matter manipulation. In other yugas that they talk about, in the Upanishad, Veda scriptures, they talk about that. There was a state where human beings were far advanced than today, where they could control things through energy. We are trying to control things through matter, and we have PhDs and from MITs and all those, and we are so proud of it. We are actually, science-wise, we are actually behind today. If you look at the Mayan civilization, there are so many other civilizations which had, so much of, science behind their civilization. It all got destroyed, but the point is that they could, draw constellations and, astronomy. They were so advanced. How? They didn't have any telescopes at that time. They didn't have the Hubble telescope to look at things, but they were so evolved, they could go into different higher realms. So my point is that, we are so, even not even spiritually backward, we are, brothers and sisters, even materialistically, we are backward. We are just dealing with matter manipulation. We can't even go to the next level, equal to mc square. We can't even go to the energy level where we can control. For example, if somebody is sick, you go to the hospital, they will do surgery, they will give some medicines. Medical medicines is some chemical, substance, and it's manipulating chemicals, right? The modern science, maximum it will do surgery. At that point, it stops. You don't go and to a highly evolved being and say, okay, you have some heart problem, I'm going to change your life energy field around your body's aura. I'm going to manipulate that so that your heart will become better. We don't have that in brothers and sisters. So what are we pursuing outside in this world? you know. So we are backward, not just spiritually, but also materialistically also, you know, that's what I'm trying to say. Again, so let's keep going. The number 6 now. Number 6 again, you know, is we go back to the Quran here because we are talking about Islamic numerology. The Surah Yasin is called as the heart of the Quran. And the the Yasin is one of the names of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in a beautiful hadith, he said that he wishes that every ummati of mine, every follower of mine, memorizes Surah Yasin, brothers and sisters. So this is a wish of our beloved Nabi, that you become at least hafiz of Surah Yasin. So, you know, I also, you know, have memorized Surah Yasin. You know, I don't know how good it is, but you know, I have done my little part. Allah accepted, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam accepted. My point is that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam loved Surah Yasin, and he loved, you know, that his followers, you know, memorize or do the hifz of Surah Yasin, inshallah. And Surah Yasin, again, the number 6 here is important. 6 times 6, 36. Okay, and if you remember, you know, in that slide I was the previous slide, I said 2 and 7. Similarly, 3 and 6 go together, because again 3 and 6 together is 9. The number 2 and 7 is 2 plus 7 is 9. 3 and 6 9. So here the Surah Yasin is surah number 36. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived in the earthly life, in the earthly form, for 63 years, which is exactly the opposite of 36. So there is a direct correlation here. The number of surahs of the Quran, right? 19 times 6. 19 is, one is awwal, we talked about it, and the 9th state that we are going is the perfection, which is the state of ahad. So 1 and 9, awwal and akhir, state of perfection. 1 and 9 together. You know, everything is a multiple of 9 in the Quran. I think, brothers and sisters, a lot of you know, but otherwise you can Google it and find out. You know, every letter, every surah, every ayat is all multiple of 9. So again, 9 times 6 is 114. So the number 6 is important. Okay, so so we have to follow Surah Yasin. Surah Yasin is one of the most beautiful surahs of the Quran, which talks about, you know, previous ummats which were there, and how they strayed away from the true path, and it's beautiful. So let's go to the number 7. Number 7 is talking about the 7 openings that we have on our face. Okay, the 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nose, and we have the mouth. 7 openings. We have the 2 hidden openings. One is the third eye, and then one is on the crown of her head. The crown of the head is called Arsh, and the third eye where it ends is called as the Kursi. And we will talk about that in the later lectures, later slides, inshallah. So so that is the number 7. We can use these 7 openings, brothers and sisters, to reach the highest holy state. There are also 7 lataif. Lataifs are spiritual energy points around our heart. You know, in the Naqshbandi tariqat, these lataifs, the zikr is done on these lataifs, so that, you know, the energy, the soul energy comes to the foreground. The 8th one, brothers and sisters, we are talking about the sukoon is on the arsh. This is talking about the meme. Okay, and the way we there is no diagram here, but the letter meme, the sukoon, there is a sukoon, and then there is a alif. So if you have a sukoon and alif together, the combination of the two will make the letter meme. The sukoon is actually on the arsh, which is on the crown of the head, and the tail of the meme comes all the way down to the forehead, between the two eyebrows. Okay, and the third eye is called as the eye of wisdom, and we will discuss that, you know, in the other slides which are following. So this wisdom that we are talking about right now, brothers and sisters, that is the ilm which will open up the third eye, and then you go into the hidden realm. You know, kalbul mu'min baytullah. The kalb of the mu'min is the bayt of Allah. So and understanding the reality, the reality, and we will talk about I don't want to confuse here. So just remember that the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was imprinted on the third eye of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, when Adam was created and Iblis was asked to bow in front of Adam. So the link between the third eye, where there is a kursi, and arsh, which is the crown. Okay, and the spiritual journey from the third eye, which is from the kursi to the arsh, which is on the crown of the head, is the miraj of every salik. Remember, brothers and sisters, this is deep spirituality. So from the sixth energy center, we have 7 energy centers in our body. We'll talk about in the next future slides. There are 7 energy centers in our body. The 6th energy center is the third eye. From there to the 7th one, which is on the crown of the head, which is called as the arsh. The third eye is the kursi. From the kursi to the arsh is the miraj of every moment. Okay. And finally, we come to the 9th one, which is the perfection, which is Ahmad. And that is where we started talking about. We said that at Sidratul Muntaha, only Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ahmad, went to the oneness. And when he went to the oneness, what remained there was Ahad, where Allah and the Fanafe Allah happened. Allah and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam becoming one. In fact, when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came back from Miraj, Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu asked, Ya Rasulullah, did you meet Allah, in the realm of oneness? And the beautiful part is, the Sahabis asked Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, where is this place? He said, La Maqam. There's no address. There's La Maqam means there is literally no address. What he meant is that this is not part of the physical world. La Maqam. Okay. Definitely there is it in a different dimension. So when Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu asked Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam that, did you see Allah? He said, yes. So he said, when the final veil was lifted, and this is so beautiful, brothers and sisters, when the final veil which was separating Allah and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, when he was on Miraj, was lifted, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam saw a mirror in front of him, and he saw his own reflection in the mirror. MashaAllah. Brothers and sisters, we're going back to the number 2 numerology here, okay, which is when in Annati state, where Allah was alone, then the Nur emerged from that, which is the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam went for Miraj, he reached back to that same state. Okay, and this is the perfection of insan. Now that particular state, the Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, that state is within your own self. It is there, hidden within your own self. This particular presentation, brothers and sisters, please have patience. This is a very deep topic. I can't rush through this, because otherwise I will, instead of my niyat here is to make it easy, or to make the understanding easy. If I rush through this topic, it's going to become more confusing. Okay. So maybe some places I talk a little more, but forgive me for that, inshallah. Let me go to the next slide. Again, this is, we all know this. Inna Allah malaikatuna salluna ala nabi ya ayyuhalladhina amanu sallu alayhi wa sallima taslima. Now this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us in the Quran, that I and my malaika are sitting and doing salawat on my Habib Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The Zat of Allah is immersed in the durud of his Habib, right? Allah has his 99 attributes, Ya Aziz, Ya Jabbar, Ya Mutakabbir, Ya Qawi, all those attributes. These are functions of Allah. Remember, brothers and sisters, the 99 attributes are the functions of Allah. For example, if I'm a man, I may be, a son to my mother. I will be a husband to my wife. I'll be a father to my child. I would be a doctor or an engineer to my office or hospital where I'm working. These are the different roles. Remember that, brothers and sisters. But there is a Zat. There is a Zat which is encompassing everything. That Zat of Allah is in the Durud. Inna Allah malaikatuna yusalluna ala nabi. Brothers and sisters, it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful that Allah is immersed in his own Nur, which came out in the Ati state. Brothers and sisters, Allah is his love for his Nur, and that Nur Allah has bestowed on every human being within your own being. Brothers and sisters, what do you think that if you go into deep meditative state and you touch that Nur, you see that Nur within your own self? Your third eye opens and you do the ziyarat of that nur. Brothers and sisters, it is, I can't even describe, it is beyond heaven on earth. Once you have mastered the technique of meditation, believe me, somebody gives you maybe one bread loaf for the next 20 days, every day a half piece of bread, you will be fine with that. You don't want the dunya anymore, because the nur will overwhelm you, engulf you with love. I don't know how to describe it, inshallah. So let's keep going. So again, let's define, and this is again, because this is a comprehensive topic, I'm going to have some slides about it. And again, we are going to Muhammad, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's name on earth, Muhammad. Most Muslims are connected to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in this state, which is the form. And Baha Muhyiddin Hazrat talks about Muha means form, the face, the blessed face of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the one who is praised in the world of the form. We do salawat, we do durud, for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Our love for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is much more than love for my own self, my own soul. Okay, we know about this. Ahmad, where when the muha is removed, then what is Ahmad? Ahmad is the, again we said, so, and we went through the different states. Ahmad is the name of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the heavens, right? So Ahmad means one who knows Allah. And who can praise Allah? Only Ahmad can praise Allah, because Ahmad went to Miraj from the utmost boundary. It only Ahmad knows Allah. If I'm talking about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala right now, even uttering the word Allah, it is Rabbi Muhammad, Rabbi Ahmad is Allah. Otherwise, I would be doing some idol worship sitting there somewhere in the corner, thinking that that idol is that, like Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu used to say that we used to make idols with dates and used to eat the dates when we used to be hungry. So, mashallah, Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu is one golden sahabi. He will always, make comments, and he will laugh at himself. It's a beautiful quality, brothers and sisters. When we start laughing at our own self, it humbles us and reminds us what we are capable of. Mashallah. So again, this is a quick thing, where we are saying, and I think we covered this particular slide before in our discussion. We said Annati state, the unmanifested state, where Allah is deep hamd of himself. Ati state, where the manifestation began. When Allah said, I was a hidden treasure and I needed to be known, so intention happened. The emergence of the nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came. Awwal state is the beginning of creation of the souls, the world of the souls, Alame Arwa, right? Hence, the conclusion of this slide is the nur exists within me, because today I have a body with me right now, and there is a soul, and the soul came from the nur. So the part that the nur, the soul came from nur, and the nur exists within me, and my whole attempt is I need to connect back to the nur to get to the abode of peace, inshallah. Okay, let me go to the next slide. So again, quick thing, what is the nur? The nur is his essence, his attributes, his secret, the resplendent light which appeared within the innermost heart of Allah as a mysterious secret of his power, his qudrat. Allah bestowed this great treasure to Ashraful Makhlukat, which is insan. That nur, brothers and sisters, is within you, within me. None of the creation of Allah has that. The jinn doesn't have that. The cat in your house doesn't have that. The goat doesn't have, the cow doesn't have that. Definitely they have the soul, but the nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which, because why? Because Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the nur came in the human form as Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, brothers and sisters. So because the insan has been blessed with the form of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam coming in the form of insan, we have that nur within ourselves. None other creation in this whole universe, and that's the reason Allah Ta'ala says that we are Ashraful Makhlukat. Not because we have five senses and when we walk like Homo sapiens and all that. No, because the nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam exists within us, we are Ashraful Makhlukat, brothers and sisters. It is not Darwin's theory going on here. Okay, inauzubillah. So Allah's grace, his nur, his rahmat. Inna arsalnaka rahmatul lil alamin. Who is that? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. His grace, his rahmat. He fills the 18,000 universes, brothers and sisters. And we cannot even fathom it. And at a deeper level, brothers, I don't know whether, it's not part of the slide, but at a deeper level, I just thought maybe I should say that, at a deeper level, brothers and sisters, the Noor, the Earth, right? For example, when NASA scientist is looking for life, we also know that the life originated on Earth as an aquatic origin from the water, right? So the NASA scientists, when they are looking for the Noor, for life, they look for water. They're looking for planets, distant planets which has water. The formula of water is hydrogen, two hydrogen molecules and one oxygen molecule. Then this is beautiful, brothers and sisters. So the secret from a spiritual realm, that particular planet, okay, where Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, okay, again, this is just a symbolic representation. Please don't confuse yourself. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Maula Ali representing the two hydrogen atoms, okay, and Fatimatu Zahra combining the two together. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Maula Ali, their relationship is Abu Talib radiallahu anhu's son is Maula Ali. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abu Muttalib radiallahu anhu's son is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. They were both brothers. Both of them, the relationship in this world become deeper and stronger when Fatima Zahra married Maula Ali. So in this physical world, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Maula Ali, they got connected through Fatima Zahra, that is where the entire Sayyid rays came, the blessed Ahlul Bayt came from there. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, my children are from Fatima Zahra radiallahu anha, right? So this is two hydrogen representation again, brothers and sisters. Please don't take it literally. Two hydrogen atoms and oxygen atom coming together. Oxygen atom representing Fatima Zahra. So when the two hydrogen atoms and the oxygen atom combine together, we get the molecule of water. This is where creation starts, brothers. We could have had, think about it, brothers and sisters, we could have had hydrogen atom as H3O or H2O2. H2O2 is not water, it's something else, right? I don't remember what chemical it is, I had studied it earlier. The point is that the two hydrogen atoms combining together, this is the secret, brothers and sisters. That particular planet where life is going to begin, the light repeated, that particular planet, it could be in one galaxy somewhere billions of light years away, where planet is going to have Allah distance that, okay, life is going to be there. The soul of Maula Ali, the soul of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Fatima Zahra will appear in the state of a form, because water will be there. Remember that, brothers and sisters. So at least, our, NASA scientists are right, they're looking for water, So in fact, what they're looking for is that particular planet or in some distant galaxy where the Noor of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Maula Ali and Fatima Zahra, that souls, the blessed souls, they would come together, maybe billions and billions of years after the first one-celled animal called amoeba, is formed. Whenever Allah wants to, let human beings appear on as Adam alayhi salatu wasalam in that particular realm. Okay, inshallah. So again, we are defining here true human being, insane kamil. So who is a true human being? Not a person who is immersed in this dunya. What is dunya, brothers? The five elemental energy: earth, fire, water, air, ether. It's a combination of that, right? Running around materialistic successes, I have a big house, a big car, BMW, this, that, corporate thing, and at the end of the day, you are very thrown into your grave, and you're not taking, you came naked, you go back, you came empty-handed, you go back empty-handed. That is the reality of this world, right? We should be going much beyond this thing, are going to be mesmerized with this five elemental energies, the external looking senses. That is what we are the slave of, Auzubillah. So who is a true human being? The true human being, brothers and sisters, is somebody who wants to go deep within his own self. He wants to realize the secret of his own existence, the secret of the Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his in his own true self, which is the sir, which is the secret that Allah has put. And that secret, when once you touch the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam within your own being, the next level is illalahu, where you now go back into Allah. And this is actually the true definition of inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Think about it, brothers and sisters. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi. Somebody dies, you say inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Oh, really? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. The body form is going to earth, to the grave. The soul is going where? Now, if the soul in this life on earth, which is 60, 70 years of this life, has never connected to his own soul, he's never connected to the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with his own self, he has never prayed, and we will get to that thing, the five prayers that we're talking about, has never prayed, witnessing the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then what do you think that inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun will happen? Because inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun means to go back to where you came from. Where did you come from? Let's go back. Where did you come from? Did you come from the grave? No. The physical heart was created from there. Allah said, I will multiply it 1,000 times and put it back into the earth. That is your grave. That's done deal. That's your physical body is done. Your soul, if he had realized it, that the soul came from Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then it will go back to the soul. You will try to, first of all, with the body. Remember, brothers and sisters, this body is a beautiful vehicle. But this is a car on lease. Remember that. It is a vehicle on lease. It has got a definite lifetime. If I use this body to just fulfill the desires, that there's no limit for desires. And I've talked about that in detail in True Meditation, how the monkey mind will fool you. I want this, I want that, it will never be satisfied. And we'll talk about that in the next few slides, right? How the mind surrenders, Because once one touches the infinity within your own self, brothers and sisters, believe me, it's an experience which I can't I can't describe. This is your own treasure. That Allah says, I was a hidden treasure and I needed to be known. That is the treasure of your own self. Once you touch that, the entire, I can say it in a sentence, that entire world for you will be like a restroom. You go there and come back. You don't sit in the restroom and enjoy. You know what? I'm going to the restroom to pass stools and urine and I'm going to feel very good about it. You just do it and come out. So that is what your relation with the world will happen once you touch to the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Which means you're already in the state of you're going back. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. So sometimes, I feel whenever a person dies, I said, is this really inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun? Has this person the soul which was there in this body, did he realize these things, or it's just, lived a material existence and going back where? To the point where you realized it. Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat said that the heaven and hell is what you realize. The realization is the point where you are. That is where you exist. Your next life is that. Your hereafter is that. Inshallah. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. And we're going to talk quickly about 15 distinct signs of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. And brothers and sisters, this is we are talking about from the physical universe point of view. Okay. And not all of them will be discussed, and Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat also talked about it. I'm just going to touch on it just so that people realize even the form of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you cannot compare that form of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam with another human being, brothers and sisters. I know some sects, unfortunately, I don't know what to say, I'm out of words. They say, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was just another human being like you and me. In Auzu Billah. Let's talk about these distinct signs. I can't help mentally retarded people. Believe me, may Allah save them. I can't help them. Just give up and move on with life. So let's talk about the nape. The nape of the neck. The seal of the Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was behind the shoulder in the back, and that was Umm Khadija the Kubra. Her cousin. He was I think his name was Baraka, Baraka bin Nawfal, I think, if I'm not mistaken, brothers. When Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam got the first wahi, Umm Khadija al-Kubra took Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam to Waraka bin Nawfal, and he looked at the seal of the Prophet behind the shoulder of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it has the brilliance of tens and millions of stars, depending upon your spiritual state. Okay, brothers and sisters. Abu Jahl in Auzubillah, looked at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, in Auzubillah, that this is Muhammad bin Abdullah, this is the son of Abdullah in Auzubillah. So it depends, what state you look at, and same, Abu Lahab did the same thing. Oh, he's my, younger brother's. Abu Lahab was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's uncle, my younger brother's son. That's all he looked at. So Tabiataba Abu Lahab bin Matab, there's a surah which is in the Quran, right? Surah, and it talks about the punishment that Abu Lahab will have. So the point is that it depends how you see it, right? So the seal of the prophets behind, which was imprinted at the shoulder and the back of the shoulder of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it had the brilliance of tens and millions of suns. It's one of the signs of Nabuwwat. Okay. The two arms of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, including the hands together, were so long and that they would reach up to the knees. This is one of the signs of enlightened beings, and this is the structure of the body itself is different. That's what we are trying to say here. Okay, when they stand straight with their hands or towards the sides, their middle finger will be below their knees. Just the arms will be long. The Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's body always emanated musk, and we all know the Sahabas, mashallah, they loved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam so much that they used to collect the sweat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and mix it with ittar so that the ittar's fragrance will increase. Our Sheikh Baha Muhyiddin Hazrat, there was a musk fragrance, a rose fragrance always around him. Right? Enlightened beings have that because their entire fundamental creation, the Baba talks about it. He says that fundamental energies, earth, fire, water, air, ether. If you keep on going into deeper levels of meditation and you touch the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they will transform themselves into the 5 angels. Angels means you are not going to be the slave of the 5 elemental energy and the bad qualities emanating from there. They are going to become angels and serve you. And that is the state at which the level of the kutub or abdals, when the body itself emanates, fragrance. And you have to experience that. It's not ether that you put from rasasi perfumes and go to Makkah. And no, the body itself emanates fragrance. The fourth one, the blue sky, holding a dark cloud of umbrella, wherever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the cloud always, followed Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's one of the mu'jizas. Very important, the fifth one. The body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not cast a shadow. Brothers and sisters, this is the rule of physics, right? If you have a body with 5 elemental energies and you put it in sunlight, if it's a matter, it will have a shadow. Even if it's a needle, it's so thin that you have to literally look at the shadow, it still casts a shadow. The body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not cast a shadow. Why do you think is that? Because the body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we just saw a form. It is the nur of Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the nur of Allah came in human form so that we get shifa. We the souls that we came with solid bodies of 5 element energies, we get true guidance and return back to Allah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. We go back to the same state. What state? Not going to Jannah with huris. This is not the path here. Jannah, huris, and that because what, I have one wife, maybe I need more huris there. No. This is not the fulfillment of pleasures. This is where you came. Where did you came? You came. The nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came from the heart of Allah. You are going back to illallahu. Umar Rabitul Adwi, and I think I mentioned this in previous presentations. Umar Rabitul Adwi said that, Ya Allah, if I am worshipping you for the fear of hell, put me in hell. Ya Allah, if I am worshipping you for the wish, a desire of heaven, keep me away from heaven. But if I am worshipping you for your own self, for the love I have for you, please accept me. It's beautiful, and she was a qalandar. Qalandar is somebody who gets direct spiritual blessing from Mawla Ali, Mushkil Kusha. And then let's go to the next one. So we said, talked about the shadow, the body of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never cast a shadow. The next one, the feet of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never touched the earth, brothers and sisters, which is engulfed by Maya and illusion. So the bad qualities, which we talk about, the 4 trillion energies which are there in the, the metals which are there and all those things, which are there, right? These are all part of the earth, right? The feet never touch the of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam never touch the earth. The 7th one, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam only walked, when he walked, even through the earth, he only walked through paths which were pure. What does that mean? Paths which are pure. The Sahabas used to say that the stones used to give salam to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So not those paths where evil was being done, or maybe evil existed and evil was practiced. Whichever path Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked through, whichever roads he took, was always pure paths. Okay, and the stones would give salam to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In fact, I want to mention this thing, that Abu Jahl, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam one day, during the early propagation of Islam, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam invited all the Quraysh leaders to his house, and he gave them a feast, and said that, gave a feast and said that I am the appointed Nabi, right? And he wanted to just propagate, whatever he was asked to do by Allah. So long story short is that Abu Jahl, he wanted to belittle Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he takes a few pebbles in his hand and he just closes his fist, and he tells Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, if you are Allah's Rasul, then tell me what is in your fist. Abu Jahl, is I don't know of any person who would be more mentally retarded than Abu Jahl, right? He's asking the Nur of Allah that what is in my fist, when the entire creation and beyond the 18,000 universes came from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the formless state. Okay, brothers, don't confuse, in the formless state, but means Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is still aware of it, and we're going to talk about it. So in the next slide, in the immediate next slide, we're going to talk about it. So Abu Jahl asked Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what is in my fist? The mentally retarded person asks Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Nur of Allah, what is in my fist? It is my Nabi, my Nabi is my Nabi. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Shafina Habibina Murshidina Muhammadan Nabil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi baiti wa sallam. The answer of my Nabi was so beautiful. He did not say to the mentally retarded Abu Jahl that you have pebbles in your fist. This is my Nabi, mashallah. This is my Nabi. My Nabi asked Abu Jahl that, why don't you ask what is in your fist, the question? And the stones, brothers and sisters, the pebbles answered. They gave Shahada Kalima. And Abu Jahl immediately, he said, this is black magic, sorcery, and he left the house. So my Nabi did not answer that, that stupid question. He asked Abu Jahl to ask the question to the whatever he is hiding inside his fist, and the stones gave witness. The pebbles gave witness to my Nabi. Why the pebbles gave witness? Think about it. Where is the mouth for the? Why? Because ultimately the pebble is what is just a matter. E is equal to mc square. What is the energy behind this pebbles? It is coming from the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that energy can speak any way. You don't need a mouth or you don't need an ear and all that. That energy can vibrate in any way and let the sound out. You understand, brothers and sisters? That's how the pebbles give salam to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because you know what? They know where they came from. Brothers and sisters, the stones in Medina Munawwara, when Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam walked, they know their existence. We human beings, unfortunately, brothers and sisters, in this human form, Ashraful Makhlukat, because of the 5 senses, we are mesmerized by the world. We have forgotten our true existence. And this 5 elemental energies has deceived us because we have used it not to get to the higher level of powers, our level of consciousness. And the stones could recognize the Rasul and they would give salams to the Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam would convey the salam back to them. And here we are in the state with a body given to Ashraful Makhlukat, the best of the creation of Allah, and we don't even have the time to go on the spiritual quest to get to the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam within my own self. I'm so busy in this world where to go to your grave. That is what you're going to reach. Every moment, every past time, you're going closer to the grave. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in a hadith said that your grave calls you 20 times in a day, reminding you that you are coming back to me. Israel alayhi salatu wasalam, the Azrael alayhi salatu wasalam, the Malkul Maut, before every ritual prayer, 5 prayers, Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, his job is to come and give salam to every human being on this earth. So if it is time of Zohar, Azrael alayhi salatu wasalam is given the printout of all the souls which will pass in between Zohar and Asr. That's all he is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Azrael alayhi salatu wasalam does not know those souls which will pass between Asr and Maghrib. That will be given at the time of Asr. But his job is at every prayer time to come and give salam to you. So right now it's 9 o'clock here in the Eastern time in the US. So Zohar is at 12. So, you know, if I don't die before Zohar, then he's going to come. Azrael Salatu Islam is going to come at Zohar time and give me salam. So, you know, that's how my life is, you know, and we are so held to it, you know, mesmerized by it. You know, Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know, some fiction or, you know, I don't know what to say. Let's keep going. So again, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam only walked on those lanes or paths which were pure. Okay. Not where there was evil done, even from the time the creation of earth, brothers and sisters, not when he was in Madinah Munawwara. From the creation of the earth, those lanes where Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam walked by were pure places. Next one. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's blessed body did not excrete an urine or feces, brothers and sisters. None of the Sahabis saw, none of the wives saw. And I'll stop it at that, you know, because, you know, I don't want to go into this thing. We're not talking about biology here. Okay. So let's go further. Okay. Because he's the purest of the pure. What more can I say? If I say more, then, you know, I'm afraid of my own iman getting lost. So I'll stop there. Okay. So the rest of the secrets, we discussed 8 of them. Okay. The rest of them, we said start with 15, is not revealed. These are revealed to a salik or seeker when you go into deeper levels of meditation. And believe me, brothers and sisters, I cannot put them here also because it could create confusion. People will not even understand what they're talking about. So you know what? Purposely, the kutubs have hidden the rest 7 of them. Let it be there. Whoever is a higher level who goes into this path, it will be revealed to him. And that's his treasure that he keeps, the understanding of him, the love for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And this is, we are talking about the 15 distinct signs of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Okay, inshallah. Now I want to talk about 2 incidents that happened during the lifetime of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. One of them with Maula Ali. When Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's body form passed away, I'm always going to say that body form, that Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, you know, went behind the veil. He exists. He's the Nur. You know, the 18,000 universes are existing because of the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You know, it's just the body form which went back into the grave. The Nur is still there, you know, and he hears her. If I say Assalamu alaikum, Assalatu Assalamu alaikum, Ya Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he will give salam back to me right away. Right away. Because he can, the 18,000 universes are at his footsteps. What more can I say? The first incident is Maula Ali. You know, this is just to get a little more clarity of the body of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Maula Ali, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed away. Maula Ali gave the ghusl. He was one of the Sahabis who gave ghusl. And there was a drop of water or tear which was on the eyes, the groove of the eyes, which is to the ridge of the nose. And Maula Ali, the deep love for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he didn't want to take a cloth and wipe it out. So in his love, he just sucked it in, just sucked it in. Maula Ali says that after that day, whenever he used to look up in the sky, he used to see his eyes used to see 18,000 universes and beyond what existed. But brothers and sisters, you know, he can't, you know, he can't disclose that to everybody. Who is going to see it? So whoever knows the the daraja of Maula Ali, and who has deep love for Maula Ali than his own soul, he will believe in this thing. Yeah. So Maula Ali said after he sucked in that pure water which came, maybe it was a tear drop from the eyes, physical eyes of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he could see the 18,000 universes and what lied beyond it through his physical eyes. Or his, I would say, the spiritual eyes opened up, or I don't know enough to tell you what, but bottom line, he could see beyond the physical realm. Second thing, Fatima Zahra, one day Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came to Fatima Zahra's house, he wanted to do wudu. Beautiful mother, you know, Allah Akbar. And Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam took his turban, his amama, and gave to Fatima Zahra, the blessed daughter of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. She playingly took the turban and put it on her head. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is making wudu. He's engrossed in making wudu. Fatima Zahra says, when I put the turban of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on my head, the entire creation, she said she felt as if she was looking down upon the 18,000 universes that Allah created. She was looking down. She was at a much higher realm, right? So we were talking about a tear drop which came, or the drop of water which touched the eyes of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the turban of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So we have to now contemplate on our Rasul, the formless state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Even the form state that we talked about, how much do we understand, right? So inshallah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Shafiina Habibina Murshadina Muhammadin Nabil Ummi wa ala ahli wa sahbihi ali baiti wa barak salam. It is the mercy of Allah. That's the reason Allah said Rasulullah is the Rahmatul Alamin, that Allah let his nur come in human form as a guidance to you and me. There is billions and billions of civilizations which came and went. We being born as the ummati of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what do I do to deserve this thing? And we are still confused. There are some people who wants to demolish the house where Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was born. Inauzubillah. Even in today's Sunni masajid, before every azan is given, the salawat on Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is recited loudly, then the azan is given. Because there would be no azan if there was no the Prophet who had come, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam had come. During the Ottomaniya Khilafat, which was there for 800 years, which ruled over the Muslim world, the muazzin of Kaaba used to walk towards the house of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam where he was born. Brothers and sisters, that house which today's government there, I don't want to start naming, they wanted to demolish. He used to walk towards the house and he used to recite praises of Maulud, of the Wiladat of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, of praise of Ummah Amina and Abba Abdullah. And then he would come walk back, and then he would give the azan and a salawat, and then he would give the azan. Today you go to the Kaaba, where is the salawat? Oh, we have it. So Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, I have the hadith, I have the Quran, I can use it when and where I please, And again, I talked about this in previous slides, Ummah Khadijat al-Kubra, the blessed mother of our Ummat, her, mazar was destroyed, right? Razed to the ground. I don't want to go there. It's already discussed in previous presentations, brothers and sisters, in Man Kuntum Mawla, and you can go and, I don't know what to say, here the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the family which supported him, they did their duty. They gave everything, their own self. Mawla Ali, Mawla Hassan, Mawla Hussein, Karbala. We'll talk about these things, inshallah. Let's keep going. And, this is what the Ummah returns, And we are busy with the world, manufacturing of the world. And then we go for the deluxe Hajj and Umrah. That's a joke of the world, right? Today's deluxe Hajj and Umrah. The shopping centers and the glitterings, I sometimes feel, is Kaaba really any more relevant anymore? Has it lost its, center focus, Maybe the clock tower is more, you are doing the tawaf of the Kaaba and you see the clock tower, the green tower with all the LEDs shining on your bloody eyes, man. So, I don't understand that. Where are we going, right? And then after that, where you are supposed to unite with Allah in the tawaf, right? You come to Baitullah, right? And then you go into the mall and then you eat your fish burger and chicken burger. And the Sahabas used to, walk around hungry. They used to tie stones on their bellies. Welcome to Islam of today. Biryani. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that a human being, who will fill the belly and who have protruding belly, it tells in hadith that the protruding bellies are the hell of the world. Let's keep going. And we'll discuss these slides are pretty fast, and we'll breeze through them. There's really not much here, but I'm going to quickly touch on it because just to want to make it complete. And again, the ayat of the Quran which talks about the ayat uskulna al malaikati usjudu adama fasjudu illa iblisa aba wastakbara wa kana min al kafirin. We know about this thing. Shaitan was asked to bow in front of the body of Adam, and none of the tafsirs talk about this thing. And this is where the Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam talked about it. He said there will be a time when true knowledge will be lifted away. We are living in those times. You look at any of the major tafsirs, it says Allah asked Iblis to bow in front of the body of Adam. Those people who talk about shirk and bid'ah, come on, man. What's the tafsir talking about? You are thinking Allah is saying that, to make shirk, to bow in front of the lifeless body of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam? Because I can argue the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was imprinted at that time at the forehead of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. And Shaitan was asked to bow, Iblis was asked to bow in front of the Nur, not the lifeless body of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. The lifeless body of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, which was created, Iblis went through that. It was hollow. It was like a bloody, log of wood. What is there? So my point is that tafsir of Quran not even talking about the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Nur Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Then what is this tafsir for? And people talk about shirk and bid'ah. I don't want to go there. I don't have time for that. So again, the point that we are saying is that Adam did not do sujood because, and we'll go to the next slide. Again, I'm sorry, Iblis did not do sujood. We'll go to this next slide. We're on the next slide. Why we need to discuss this thing? Why need to? Because you know what? If you are an intelligent person, you will learn from the mistakes of even of your enemy. Allah Ta'ala says in the Quran, Inna shaitanu adun mubin, right? Now, what was Iblis before Adam was created? He was a sheikh, brothers and sisters. He was not an ordinary creation. He was a sheikh of the jinn and the malaikat around the arsh of Allah. He was in hamd of Allah. When the earth was created, it is said there is not even 1 inch of earth where Iblis has not done sujood. He was man. He was a very super worshipper, man. He was, he was there, all the time in zikr and tasbih and all that of Allah, hamd of Allah. Now, what happened? Think about it. Let's analyze this thing because you know what? Let's learn from mistakes. Why you want to repeat the same mistake? Iblis, the moment Adam was created, he said, I am made of fire. Adam is made of earth. We all know that fire is a cleansing agent for earth. Metals of the earth, if you want to purify iron ore, if you want to purify zinc, magnesium, gold, silver, you have to put it in a furnace. What happens in the furnace? You melt the ore and then pure metal comes out. So Iblis knew very well. He's not dumb. He even goes behind Musa alayhi salatu wasalam to, and Yeshua, when they were looking for Khidr alayhi salatu wasalam, Surah Kahf, try to, misguide them, So the point is that Iblis knew very well, but he's only connected to the form. That's what I'm trying to tell you, brothers and sisters. He knew very well that, the fire is a cleansing agent for everything which is in the earth. So I'm more superior. Adam is made of earth, I'm made of fire. So that's the reason I'm not going to bow in front of the lifeless body. But what happened? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in his infinite mercy, because he is Rahman and Rahim, he bestowed the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam on the forehead of Adam alayhi salatu wasallam and said, Iblis, you have done billions of sajda for me. I don't care. Do one sajda for my nur, in front of my nur. Very important, brothers and sisters. I'm going to come to it. Iblis is not somebody who was, womanizing and drinking and all that in his own world. No, he was one of the staunch worshippers of Allah. He was the sheikh, as we said, of the jinn. He used to take classes, for the jinn and the malaika. They used to look upon him, my great guy, But Allah, said, bow in front of my nur. Forget about the millions of sujud you have done on earth. Just do one sujud in front of my nur. And Iblis did not do it. That was it. Why Iblis did not do it, let's come to that too. The why is very important. It's not just that, I'm created of fire and Adam is created of earth. When the Iblis saw the nur completely engulfed him, overpowered him in a nice way. Inshallah, when you, Ashraful Makhlukat, sees the nur, you'll feel the closeness to the nur, the qurb of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is not just the form who is buried in Madinah Munawwara. He exists in different life, is mingled. His nur is mingled in every atom of this universe, and you will feel it when you get connected to that nur. Iblis lost his identity. He's a personality, he's ego. I am the sheikh, right? I'm the big guy. Now I have to submit to this nur. What happens to my title? Think about it, brothers and sisters. So what Iblis rejected is not just the nur. He rejected the ahad, the oneness, because when you merge with the nur, the next step is ahad, which is inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Where you came back, where you came from, you go back. So the point is, Iblis to use his monkey mind, the subject which is Iblis, the object which is the nur, or Adam alayhi salatu wasalam, separation of the subject with the object, and I'm superior. So brothers and sisters, that is our enemy who failed. So let's learn from him. Let's go to the next slide. Again, just one more slide and then we go into lessons learned part of it. Iblis was the commander of jinns. We know about that in heaven. He acquired two qualities once Adam was created. Very important. Pride and arrogance. Cursed by Allah. Allah called him Malhoon. Iblis's heart was filled with the haughtiness and jealousy the moment Adam was created. So this is very important, brothers and sisters. If we do not acquire the qualities of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the true quality of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, definitely reading the seerah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, you will get it. You'll try to imitate him. But what happens if you go into the formless state of within your own self and you're able to touch the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the source of everything? Then you become that. You don't have to imitate, you become that. When you have a magnet and an iron, block of iron, you keep on rubbing the magnet with the iron. After some time, what happens, brothers and sisters? The iron acquires the magnetic quality. So that nur in front of which Allah asked to do sujood, we're going to get there, okay, in the few slides. So just remember this thing. The point here we are making, no matter what we have studied, what titles we have earned, one day our heart will develop jealousy, arrogance, falsehood, backbiting, deceit, vanity, and work towards defining my material successes in the dunya so I can declare to my fellow human beings who exist with me right now that how great I am. Whether it is my education, it is my, my business, or what I do, everything, if it's connected to the material world, the self-centered, egoistic existence, your heart will be filled with the same haughtiness and jealousy of Iblis's heart, and that heart will never be in peace. Today's competition, comparison, definition of success, the fitna of Dajjal. Hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, know that your Lord is not one-eyed. Dajjal is one-eyed. What does that mean? Dajjal is one-eyed. The right eye is the spiritual eye, the left eye is the materialistic eye. Dajjal will sell you materialism. Spiritual eye is blocked. Today's definition of success is material success. You will not find the names of spiritually enlightened souls who are sitting in meditation in some cave in the newspapers or the websites. You'll find the billionaires, Warren Buffett and all this, Bill Gates. I'm not saying good or bad about them. I'm saying is this is today's world. They came from humble beginnings. They made money. I'm not against that. I'm saying that is where the world is. So we are living in times where material existence, materialism is only used as a criteria of defining success. Developed countries, not so developed countries. Do we say spiritual countries, not so spiritual countries? No. We always have the list of, the top 100 billionaires. Do we have a list of the top 100 enlightened souls right now, irrespective of religion and where they are situated? We don't have that. It won't sell, that's the point. Next. I want to touch upon this Jibril Islatu Islam, and the reason I'm saying this thing is this is very deep. The state or the status of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the eyes of Allah, the super consciousness, right? Jibril Islatu Islam's job, again, whether it is Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam or any prophet before or messenger before, anybody who has come, is the job to bring wahi. So Jibril Islatu Islam's duty, go to Loh Mahfuz, which is there, in beyond the seventh heaven, and there is a tablet there. And Jibril Islatu Islam is going to stand in front of the tablet. There will be a voice which will recite that particular ayat which will be revealed on that particular day, and Rasulullah or that particular moment, and he will listen to that, bring it back to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That was his job, and he is doing this for many years now, right? The 23 years of the Nabuwwat of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. On one day, brothers and sisters, think about it. One day, he just has a thought, not even an action. He didn't mention it to anybody, just a thought. That, well, I am bringing this wahi from Loh Mahfuz to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is propagating it, and he's getting all the credit. I am not. This is just a thought. He didn't mention it to anybody. Comes down to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, gives salam to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, Wa alaikum salam, because Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said salam. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, returned the salam. And he said, who are you? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and this is talked, Bawa Muhyiddin Hazrat talked about it. Kutub Bawa Muhyiddin, Radiyallahu anhu. He said, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on that day, who are you? Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is shocked. He said, Ya Rasulullah, I am Jibreel. He said, I don't know you. He said, I am Jibreel who brings the wahi every day. He said, no, I don't know you. I brought wahi for you. He said, no, I cannot take wahi from you. I don't know you. So he's completely perplexed, Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, in a dilemma. So he says, what should I do? Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, go back to Allah and ask him. Tell him that I told you that I don't know you. And now he's happy because at least got one way ahead. He goes back to Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. And she said, Ya Allah, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he did not, he said, I don't know you, I don't recognize you. And he's waiting for some consolation from Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. Allah Ta'ala says, yeah, Jibreel, he's right. He doesn't know you. And Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam immediately knew that he has done something wrong. He's the blessed angel of Allah who's bringing wahi. He's not like you and me, right? And he immediately breaks down. And Allah Ta'ala says, now here's the wisdom. He says, yeah, Jibreel, go down, go to Loh Mahfuz again. And this time I'm going to unveil the form behind the sound of the ayat of the Quran, which is revealed. When he used to go, he used to just hear the sound, the recitation. He would never see the face behind the sound. He said, this time you go down, I'm going to remove the veil in front of you, so you will see the face behind the sound which is doing the recitation. Jibreel Salatu Wasalam go down to Loh Mahfuz, same ayat is again revealed, but when he sees, it is the face of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, brothers and sisters, which is giving the wahi, and that is the Nur of Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which has got the face of the same face of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is on the human body form. If you look at the form, right? Again, Nur Muhammad is the formless, but if you want to look at the form behind, Allah said this is the form. So the bottom line is, Nur Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the formless state, brothers and sisters, listen to this. Nur Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the formless state is giving the wahi to Jibreel Salatu Wasalam, and Jibreel Salatu Wasalam is bringing that wahi to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in the form state. And Allah Ta'ala then reveals to Jibreel Salatu Wasalam that you are just a witness for the creation. Brothers and sisters, again, this is knowledge at the level of Hakikat, Marifat, Sufiyat. You will not find this ilm at the level of Shariat. Okay? So I don't want any confusion here. From then on, Jibreel Salatu Wasalam in tears went back to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, asked for forgiveness, because then he realized who is Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's not just the form. The formless state, the form is just which came in the form state for 63 years for our own enlightenment and our own, shifa. But the real formless state is the Nur which spreads the 18,000 universes. So what is a Quran going to be for the Nur, right? So after that time, whenever Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, who at that time would be in who is in the form state, when he was in Madinah Munawwara, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, if he was asleep, Jibreel Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to kiss the feet of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam out of love and honor for Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Kiss the feet of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Because it is a blessing of Hazrat Qutb Baba Muhyiddin Radiallahu Anh that he revealed this secret. MashaAllah. Now we are going to this Nur, how it pertains to me, right? Relationship between the 5 Islamic prayers, Zohar, Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha, and 5 elemental energies. And then we are going to go the same relationship with the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. My 5-time prayer, right? I am the great guy who prays 5 times. So Fajr prayer, the Sufi perspective, Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat said, Sufi perspective, Fajr prayer, it conquers if it is done properly. Very, very important. Properly. Not with the monkey mind, but witnessing the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, doing the sujood to the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and the azmat of Allah. If it is done properly, the earth element within your body will come in complete control. If you do your Zuhar prayer properly, the fire element within your own body will come under the control. Or it will do sujood to the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, and you'll become the slave or the angel for the Nur. Asr will control the water element. Maghrib will control the space element. Isha will control the air element. And what is Tahajjud for? Tahajjud is the mer union of the Abd with the Ahad. With the Ahad and the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. That is my Mi'raj. So the question that you have to ask is, I'm praying Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. Is these 5 elemental energies still controlling me? The zinatat hayatat dunya, right? Mesmerized by the world, mesmerized by the successes of the world, the ego, the self, I, me, and you, the maya and the illusion. If I'm in that, then the 5 elemental energies are playing havoc in my life. If I get angry for every small button which is pressed, well, the fire element is out of control. If I'm fighting with my wife all the time, or my wife is fighting with the husband, great. Who's in control? The fire element. So, oh, I pray Zohar every day. Oh, really? If that's true and the Zohar prayer was doing its effect, then the fire element should have been in control. Anger should not be there. This is where I'm trying to get to, brothers and sisters. Oh, water element. Oh, water element is connected to angelic, as well as, if the water element in the bad way, is the sex organs are there. It's the second energy center just above the root chakra is the water chakra. Sexual energy is there. So if I cannot control my lust, what do you think? Oh, I pray Asar every day. Oh, really? If you are really praying Asar, then the water element should have been in control. And sisters, this is the point. Fajr, Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha is not just 5 waqt. These done properly, doing the sujood to the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they will become angelic and they will obey the commands of Allah, which is prescribed in the Sharia. If it's not doing it, then my 5-time prayers is just actions. That is what we're trying to get to. And what is true prayer? Witnessing the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, doing sujood. This is exactly what the problem of shaitan was, brothers and sisters. Let's go to the slide. So again, I covered this in other topics, other presentations. So has my fire ritual prayer conquered the fire elemental energies within me, the form, or I'm still the slave of the form and the energies? I want a big house so that people will think big about me. I have a beautiful car, BMW, this, that. Oh, great. Identified by the form, personality. Personality is a Greek word and it means to project something. It is not even the reality, just a projection. Personality. Maula Ali said about the arrogance of a human being. He said, how can a human being be arrogant when he knows that what is inside his intestine, when it comes out, he detests it. If you want to, feel proud about your body, when you go to pass your stools and urine, don't flush the toilet. Let the end your stomach, your intestine, your, colon empty out. After that, don't flush it. You can clean yourself and then look at what is inside in the commode. And you look at the, believe me, I do that, when my nafs goes up, I do that. Don't flush it. Yeah, I know it's disgusting, but don't flush it. Look at it very carefully. I said, oh, this is me. It's beautiful, friends. Telling you it's beautiful if you do that. You laugh at yourself. Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu said, he said, we used to make idols of dates and we used to, pray to the idol before going on the journey. And when we used to be hungry, we used to eat those dates, dismantling the idol, So, similar way, go to, look at the commode after you have, you have bowel movements and your gallbladder is empty. And maybe get closer and smell it, and maybe at that point you will stop identifying more with your body. Maybe you will at least start the journey to get to the Nur, which is your true essence and your true self, inshallah. So again, purpose of creation, why I was given the soul combined with the body. This is alam nasut, from the form to the formless, but now that form is the false identity and hence the hell of my creation. So the journey again from the mind to the heart to the soul. And again, I need to understand why Allah has given me this body, this form is just a vehicle to take upon this journey to understand the formless state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Inshallah. Let's go to the next slide. Again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Rabb who loves me 70 times more than my own mother loves me. He has not left me stranded empty. Okay, go find for yourself. No, he has placed in every human being positive qualities of compassion, love, sympathy, empathy, pity, benevolence, justice, honesty, patience, sabur, forbearance, contentment, surrender to the truth, balance in life, concentration, wisdom. These are all qualities that Allah has placed in every human being. If you use all these qualities to get to where you need to get to. So problem, brothers and sisters, is not that whether we can get there or not. It is whether, we have the focus to get there. How badly do you want? Or is the five elemental energies and the outside world is so mesmerized that, you know what, I have other goals in life and this can wait. If that's the case, that's fine. It's an individual choice, right? It's individual choice. It's great, Allah with all his kudrat and his power, right? He never forces anybody. This is the beauty of Rabb. He just waits patiently. One lifetime, 10 lifetimes, 100 lifetimes, take how many lifetimes you want. You know, he just patiently waits for the soul to realize his own true self. And that is my Rabb. To decipher the wisdom, Bahauddin Hazrat talks about the 7 levels of understanding within us. We're going to cover that. Next slide. Secret within man. Feeling is in the gross body. You know. Second one is awareness, which is the life energy. The gross body, for example, gross body is made of what? So for example, I have a heart which is pumping blood, lungs which is contracting and expanding. People have to make a distinction, brothers and sisters. It is not the physical heart which is contracting and expanding because of the power. No, there is a life energy which is flowing, which is flowing, and that is causing the heart to contract and to pump the contract, expand and pump the blood, and the lungs to push in and out, through contraction and expansion again. And every cell in my body is doing its function. Pancreas is doing its function, kidney is doing its function, liver is doing its function, is because of this life energy. And this life energy is the energy which comes directly from the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The soul energy is connected to the life energy is connected to the soul energy. So the physical body itself is just flesh and bones with no activity. Without the life energy, getting it from the soul energy getting it from Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, this body will not function. The third level is, and that is life energy. The third level is intellect. And what is the intellect? Is the basic mind, right? And we're going to cover that in the next slide. Is what used for survival. So, and every animal uses that for surviving. These three, the first two, feeling, awareness, intellect, is available to all animal kingdom. If there's a cat in your house or cow outside or a human being. The fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh level is only available to human beings. Ashraful Makhlukat, the great guys, me and you. Okay. Assessment, right or wrong, values. And, maybe to make it a little clear, right? Instead of giving just definition, I'm going to give an example here. So let's say that, I have a craving for sugar. Okay, I think that's more, up to, at least I can explain that way up to level 4. I have a craving for sugar. Okay, so the feeling, the body is there, awareness is there, life energy is there, intellect, which is the mind, says, okay, I want sugar. And mind, remember, brothers and sisters, is the hell of the world, hell of your own, within your own self. You'll always go for pleasure and comfort. So I want sugar. So mind does that. Now, even though the mind gives the signal to the body and the body is ready to, grab through the hand movement to grab the candy in front of you, you go to the next level, assessment, and says, oh, I'm pre-diabetic. I have so much of, insulin deficiency. Right and wrong comes right there. Now, even though if the pleasure and the craving is there, the higher level says, no. If I take this candy, it is good for me. My mind will feel happy because pleasure and comfort, but it is not good in the long run. So an assessment of long-term versus short-term is done at the fourth level. This, brothers and sisters, Most of the animals, they don't have it. I'm talking about long term. I'm not talking about short term. Remember that. Basic survivability instinct is available to every mankind, every human being, every creation. If you take a cat and throw it close to a fire, it will run away from there. Basics. This we are talking about long term versus short term, because you know if a cat has got a heart condition, the cat does not know that because it doesn't have the understanding of its own body. Human being, evolved being, has that assessment, so it goes much deeper. Okay, so it's not just intellect also has the choice of right and wrong, but assessment is at a much higher, deeper level. And you could call it like at a Islamic level you could call haram halal, right? And is this this is chicken, okay? If somebody is vegetarian, non-vegetarian, doesn't matter, but I'm just bringing it chicken, okay? Is it halal or haram? Oh, I'm hungry, I want to eat it, right? So that assessment comes, right? Fifth is subtle wisdom. The subtle wisdom is at a level where the halal and haram is over, and now you're going to deeper level. Okay, halal and haram is what is good for you, what is bad for you, kind of thing. Okay, subtle wisdom. Say, for example, I want to buy a new car, and I have the money in my bank. I'm not going to take a loan. I'm going to have money in my bank. I'm going to go write a check and carry it. When I'm going towards the dealer, I stumble upon a masjid, and I find a form there and says, okay, there are some orphans somewhere, say in Syria or someplace, and somebody is asking for, say, donation. And I pause for a moment and say, what if I go and buy a used car from the dealership? I can save $10,000. Maybe I can use half of the money and give it to the refugees there in Syria. Now, from a halal and haram perspective, believe me, my zakat for the year is over. 2.5 already given it out. I'm already done it. But then here the subtle wisdom comes in. And there you decide, a conscious choice is made, where I'll go for a second-hand car so that somebody else will benefit out of it. I will make a life much more simpler. Or maybe I go for a new car, but a much lower model, not a luxurious model. My point is that that is not coming from haram and halal. There is no harm in you going and buying that new car. It's your money, it's your bank account, and you can buy it. So the subtle wisdom is there. Okay. Now the next one, divine analytical wisdom. This is where the larger reality of life happens. Where I try to, for example, what we are talking here, Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the different states, the Annati state, Ati state, these are all analytical wisdom. This comes from the level of the ilm of kutubiyat. Even this is not available at the level of Sharia. If you agree with me, brothers and sisters, Sharia, this presentation is doesn't exist, right? So these are divine analytical wisdom. And then the next level is the divine luminous wisdom. And so divine analytical wisdom, I put Lam there on the side. Lam is the wisdom which came from Maula Ali. And wisdom is what? Whatever hadith and Quran Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has brought, explanation of that, the Kutubs gave, Panjatan Pak, Maula Hassan, Maula Hussein, the Sahabas gave, that all, the ilm, the explanation of the Nur, what Gausul Azam Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani Radiallahu Anhu brought, that's all divine analytical wisdom. What we are talking right now about is divine analytical wisdom coming from the Kutubs of Allah. It's not available at the basic Sharia level, it's not available. Finally, divine luminous wisdom is the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, which is Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, brothers and sisters, there are 7 levels of ilm within the same human being. And the 8th one is Sufiyat, where the oneness of Allah, which is merged with Allah. This is Alif. So Alif Lam Mim, our presentation, it's just that we talk about Alif Lam Mim all the time. Alif is Allah, where everything merges, Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. We came from Allah, we go back to Allah. That is the Alif, where we all merge back to. Okay, and here again, Ahad, there is no duality. I praying to Allah, I separate from Allah. If that I is there, even the I gets to do the ziyarat, that is the topic of the presentation. If that I gets to do the ziyarat of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the Nur Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, brothers, the I is gone. Like Shaitan lost his identity, I wish I would lose my identity, right? That's the best thing will happen to you. Shaitan was pissed because he lost his identity. If you are able to do the ziyarat of Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which is imprinted on Adam alayhi salatu wasalam's forehead and hence on your forehead, which is today covered because you have not revealed it to your own self. Brothers and sisters, it is on your own forehead because it was imprinted on the forehead of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam. You have not uncovered it. If you uncover that, brothers and sisters, like Shaitan was completely empowered, engulfed by the Nur, same thing could happen to you. Iblis already helped you. He tells you what happened to him. So if you do that, then you get into Ahad. The five elemental energy which creates havoc through the mind. We can have a slide describing that. That five elemental energy will now become the five angels who are doing sujood to the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. MashaAllah. That's good. Next slide. Again, this is a slide I just put it in just for how the mind works, so that we understand the limitation of the mind. Very important, the limitation of the mind is very important because I need to understand the limitation of the mind. The Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is much beyond the mind. Okay, so what happens? The mind. Look at this thing. It's self-explanatory. You can pause it and read it. You don't need my explanation. You guys are very intelligent. The five sense organs on the left. Sense organs: eyes, ears, tongue, skin, nose, help to protect the body. Mind receives signals from the from these sense organs. Intellect, what does it do? It processes the information back and forth. Then whatever is needed, it gets stored. When you go into a parking lot, you look for your car. Why? Because you know how your car looks. That's coming from your memory. Okay. So again, then action, right? The organs of action. The power of expression, speech. I'm talking to you. Power of expression through the brain and the tongue coordination. Power of grasping is the hand. Power of movement is the leg. Power of excretion, digestive organs, urinary bladder, kidneys, livers, all those things. Power of excretion. Power of procreation, the sexual organs, the reproduction. These are all the organs of action. And look at the most important thing in the slide, ego. This is where I want you brothers and sisters to look at it. The ego identifies the sense, these two are, so what happens here? The ego, if you see the arrows, beautifully done slide, right? The two arrows are the sense organs and the action. They are, feeding the ego and the ego is feeding them. Is vice versa for the senses. And who is in the center taking care of all that? The mind is doing the processing. Okay. So the functioning of the earth body, the life energy, which keeps the earth body kicking, the emotional sheath which is around it. And what is the emotional sheath? Oh, and we'll talk about it. It's not love. Divine love is not an emotional thing. Okay. Or hatred and jealousy, or all those things. Emotions. Subtle wisdom, divine analytical wisdom. We say that in the slide is beyond the mind. I hope you agree on that, because this is very limited. Right. Again, look at your body. This is again we talked about this in much more detail in the presentation for true meditation. You could go to the YouTube channel and you can get that. And Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat talks about Sharia, the first two energy centers, the lower one, the root chakra, the water chakra. These are Sharia. And what is Sharia? And you look at it, it is whatever is below your navel is Sharia. It is per Sharia, the rules of Sharia, whatever we are talking right now is not covered in Sharia, because this is divine analytical wisdom, divine luminous wisdom. We talk about the sixth and the seventh level of ilm, right? So the Sharia is what? Is procreation and how to do nikah, walima, akika, taking care of your body, wazu, ghusl, halal, haram, eating, all that. So basic survival instincts of is Sharia. The next one, Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat said, from the navel to the diaphragm is tariqa. What is tariqa? Even from a spiritual perspective, the fire element, between the navel and just below the navel, half inch below the navel to the diaphragm is what? is the complete is your digestive system. When you don't have any food in your stomach, what happens? A fire burns there. When you eat food, the fire extinguishes. There is no really fire there, but the feeling that your body gives you is as if a fire is burning in between you. So Bahamuddin Hazrat said, and when you get connected to a sheikh in the tariqat, what does the sheikh do? The sheikh will break your nafs, He will make you go through, zikr and all that, and you know, so that your nafs breaks. So the fire element gets controlled. What is hakikat? The hakikat is from the diaphragm about to the neck, to the throat. That is hakikat, and that is where you have the heart chakra is there, and or the energy center. You can call it energy center, chakra. It doesn't matter. So chakra is a Sanskrit word. Bahamuddin Hazrat said the from the diaphragm to the throat is hakikat from an Islamic perspective, and the throat is where you have the uh, space. The sound emanates from there. And finally, Marfat or Furqan, as Bahamuddin Hazrat said, is the top, the head part of it. The seven openings we talked about in the first few slides. The seven openings, the two eyes, the two ears, the two nose, the mouth, the two hidden openings of the third eye and the crown of the head, which is the arsh and the kursi. And finally, ahad, which is where oneness, which is the crown of the head, where the sukoon of the meme, the sukoon is the circle of the meme, and when the circle is connected with the alif, it becomes the meme, the letter meme. Okay, and the crown of the head is where ahad is there, where sufiyat is there. Then this is the different meditative states you have to go through. These are energy centers, brothers and sisters. These are energy centers where you have to take your energy from the root of your spinal cord, brothers and sisters. From the root of your spinal cord, you have to take this energy step by step by step by step by step all the way to Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. From there, the Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam is on the third eye. You start seeing the Nur at that point. That is the Nur which was imprinted on the forehead of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to which Shaitan was asked, Iblis was asked to do sujood. And the revelation will happen only if, brothers and sisters, very important, the five energy centers below, which is the earth, fire, water, air, ether, all these five of them below the throat, from the throat below, all these five energy centers are completely enslaved. If it is not enslaved, you will not be able to get to the forehead. Today the Muslims do fasting, Ramadan. And I think, is it fasting or feasting? When it is time for iftar, man, all the delicacies of the world is opened up. The poor mothers at home are cooking from 2 p.m. onwards because the husband and the children are coming and they've been hungry for 10 hours or 12 hours or 14 hours or 16 hours, and in the US and Canada, during summer it goes up to 17 hours or so. Oh, so they're hungry. So now I have to feed them with mutton biryani, chicken biryani, halim, all things, so that the nafs will grow. Oh, Allah put you through all this trouble. So it is not going to be the simple, two rotis and some, simple food, some dal. No, no, no. You have to entice the nafs, so the nafs feel good about it. Oh, I was punished for 14 hours to 16 hours because I was fasting. Now it is the time to make me feel more important. So where is the ruh afza sharbat? Why not a glass of water, brothers and sisters? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Aisha radiyallahu anha needs to say that there would be no fire lit in the kitchen for 2 months. 2 full moons will pass. No fire lit, because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not have anything to eat. What was his food? Dates and water. Oh, where is chicken biryani and mutton biryani and all the all the non-vegetarian food. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was more vegetarian than most of us know. When one of the Sahabi's wives brought, kaddu, pumpkin with some pieces of meat inside and a bowl, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam picked up pumpkin and ate it. My question, brothers and sisters, given a choice to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, what would have done? And we talked about that in the Zabiha presentation, which is there on the YouTube channel. Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat talked about in length about what was true Zabiha at that time, at the time of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And it's a 2-hour lecture. You can go and listen to it, and hopefully, you'll understand that today's non-vegetarian food that you get in the supermarkets or in the halal shops, how halal is it, Once you listen to that, you have to take an effort, right? This is divine analytical wisdom. If you want to stay at Sharia, have a good time. Do Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim and eat what you want, inshallah. Let me keep going. The 5 sheets of human body, very, very important, right? It is not just a physical sheet. People don't even know that, there are 5 sheets. The physical body made of flesh and bones. The second sheet, which is what? The vital energy, the sheet. That vital energy in your body at the diaphragm, it splits into 2. There is one body, which is one energy, which is our body is sustaining in one form because of 2 energies working in opposite direction. Brothers and sisters, I'll give a simple example. You have a force below the diaphragm pushing things down. We have a force above the diaphragm pushing things up. You have the lungs pushing the air out, in, out, out. You have the heart pumping out blood, making your stuff, your body sustaining. You eat food in the stomach. What happens? As the digestive process begins, stomach, then the liver secretes the bile, right? And then the gallbladder stores it. Then pancreas secrete insulin, spleen, small intestine. The food gets pushed down, small intestine, large intestine, colon, rectum, anus, out. The water, what happens? Goes to the kidney, to the urinary bladder, and from there out through the penis. So from diaphragm below, there is an energy which is pushing things down. Diaphragm above, there's an energy which is pushing things up. You're breathing, you're pumping of blood. Both in tandem. Both these energy levels, one pushing below, one pushing up, is keeping your body going. If any one of them fails, doesn't do its duty, you're done. You're dead meat. Okay. That is the energy. So don't think that that the physical heart is beating just like that. That's the vital energy sheet, and that sheet gets the energy not because you just had chicken biryani and mutton biryani. It is definitely, but the real power of sustaining it comes from where? I'm talking about energy. It comes from your soul power. Because I'll tell you why. The soul leaves your body. What happens? What happened to that vital energy? If you put food in the mouth of a dead corpse, what happens? It starts chewing? No. So it is still the soul energy is the master behind the vital energy sheet. Next thing, mental sheet. The mental sheet, and we are going back to what Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat talked about. The mental sheet is the intellect and the assessment layer. And as we grow, think about it. The physical body is made of flesh and bones. When you go one step inside, right, the vital energy sheet, the heart is pumping, the blood, and the digestive organs are working and all that. It becomes more subtle. A more subtle layer within you is the mental sheet, where the intellect and the assessment is happening. The next sheet, which is the covering, is wisdom, divine analytical wisdom, divine luminous wisdom. We talked about that. It's much more subtler than the mental sheet. If you go beyond that sheet, that is where the bliss comes in. That is Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. The witness to the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. You become the witness because the Nur is already there. You don't have to create it. The Nur is already there. It was imprinted by Allah on your forehead. You don't have to do anything. You just have to uncover it. People are stuck to the physical body, vital energy, having a good time in the world. Mental sheet is, we're focused on the five senses outside looking. Nice car, nice house, beautiful woman, this, that, the entire civilization, I, me, myself, my ego, my personality, I'm the great guy, Anara Bukumulala, I'm the Firon. So the first three layers, the physical sheet, the vital sheet, the mental sheet, all working to satisfy the ego. You don't even get to the wisdom sheet, the bliss sheet, because beyond that is the soul, which is existence consciousness, which is La ilaha illallahu. So what is La ilaha? La ilaha is you have to discard the mental sheet, the vital energy sheet, and the physical body looking outside. Look inside. Take these three layers, fold it inside. The mental sheet, vital energy sheet, physical body. Say, you guys are tools, man. My job is to get back to the wisdom sheet. From there, going to the Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam into my soul. Now these physical body, vital energy sheet, and the mental sheet is now doing what is actually required of it. Otherwise, it's just a slave of the five elemental energies. Welcome to the hell. Iblis is waiting for you because he's already there. Okay, let's keep going. Beautiful. 9 jewels of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And only the Kutub of Allah, Muhyiddin Hazrat, again, the love, when you have to the Kutub, because of what he has revealed, mashallah. If he had not given us this ilm, I would be a donkey. Not that I'm not no less donkey, but what a higher donkey, I would say. Okay, let's keep going. Annati Muhammad. The Annati Muhammad. Again, we are talking about the 9 jewels of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's the 9 components, you could say, of the composition of the formless state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When I say 9 jewels, the 9 components of the formless state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Annati Muhammad. The unmanifested name Allah gave his Nur when there was no creation. In complete silence, Allah was in hamd or praise of himself, in his own hamd. The Nur existed within himself. At that time, Allah said, this Nur, Ya Kutub, it comes from the ilm of Mawla Ali. Man kuntum Mawla fa hadiyul Mawla. Ana Madinatul ilm wali babuha. It comes from there, brothers and sisters. This ilm is coming from there, from the Kutubs. You will not get it in Sharia. Okay? If I am the city of the Medina, the city of knowledge, Ali is the door. That is, this explanation is coming from there. Nobody else can give this explanation. Okay? Annati Muhammad, unmanifested state of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Ati Muhammad, the primordial beginning, the circle of perfect purity. Sukoon, from where? The sukoon, the small sukoon, the small circle. Emergence of the Nur. Supporting the sukoon with the alif, with his alif, the alif. The sukoon and alif merge together and become the meme of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Awwal Muhammad, the emergence of the Nur, and Allah gave light to the Nur and called this as Awwal Muhammad. Why this explanation has been given? So that you understand. This is discovering my own self, okay, my own creation, my own history. This is part of it. Then I need to know what, is the form state important or the formless is important? The form is state for 60 years, 70 years. This is billions and billions of years where I can't even look, let's say, when Anati started. This is before the 18,000 universes were created. My soul is eternal. Soul does not die. Soul is eternal. This is the story of my soul. Awwal Muhammad, emergence of the Nur. And this is from the Nur, all the souls were created. This is where the third level. Hayat Muhammad. A Hayat Muhammad is the energy, is the component of the 9 jewels, which is within my own soul, which gives the eternal life to my soul. Brothers and sisters, eternal. Doesn't die. The Hayat Muhammad keeps it life. If my soul was not connected to Hayat Muhammad, it would be as good as 5 elemental energy dead meat. My body after it is dead. The soul is eternal because of Hayat Muhammad, connection to Hayat Muhammad. Anna Muhammad. The nourishment, sustenance which is given to the body, to my five elemental body. You take a seed, put it inside the earth. It sprouts after a few weeks. The amount of weight above the seed is 1,000 times more than the weight of the soil I'm talking about. The weight of the soil is thousands of times more than the weight of the seed, brothers and sisters, because you take, okay, let's put it 4 inches below the soil. What energy is bringing this seed to, to emerge out against all this gravitational and the weight on its own? Think about yourself, you take a, you go lie down in the basement and put a load of 10,000 pounds on top of you. You think your 140 or 200-pound body can take it up? You cannot. That, so the reason I'm giving this example, the seed which sprouts of the earth, it's coming from Anna Muhammad. The sustenance of every human being on this planet is coming from some seed, whether it is wheat or you're a vegetarian, non-vegetarian, everything is coming from the component of Anna Muhammad. The nourishment for every living creation on earth as well as beyond earth. Billions of planets of universes, billions of stars and galaxies, 18,000 universes. I don't know how many creation exist where, everything coming from Anna Muhammad. The Ahmad, the next one, the light of the beauty of Allah's essence. That beauty which knows Allah and which can only do the hamd of Allah. Only Ahmad knows to do the hamd of Allah. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was asked, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which zikr do you love to do the most? And he said, third kalima, Subhanallahi walhamdulillahi wa la ilaha illallah Allahu akbar wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi wa huwa al-aliyyul azim. Sahabas asked, Ya Rasulullah, why not the first kalima, second kalima, fourth kalima, fifth, why the third kalima? Because Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, my name is not mentioned in the third kalima. All the other kalimas have my name mentioned in there. Even in that state, my beloved Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is negating his own self, and he is only affirming the hamd of his beloved, his Rabb. That's the reason he was reciting the third kalima. When he was in body form, he was always reciting the third kalima all the time. Muhammad, the beauty of the face, the beauty of the light, the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nur Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when it came in body form, the manifestation of the face. It is the question that, the Mashaykh say that, one of the 99 attributes of Allah is Ya Jamil, and one of the attributes of another attribute is Ya Khaliq. And when Ya Jamil, the most beautiful creates creator, which is the Khaliq, he wants to create his beloved. How do you think he's going to create the face of his beloved? Can't even describe the face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the body form which came and gave us all this wisdom. So that otherwise I would be worshipping idols like Umar bin Khattab radiallahu anhu, eating the dates after that, Maybe worse than that, never know. Okay, next one, Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We explained that the primordial light which came from the inner heart of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And finally, Allah Muhammad, the light of Allah and Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is beautiful. The light of Allah is in Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The light of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is in Allah, and both of them are one. Ahad. They are in union. This is Allah Muhammad. So, brothers and sisters, these are the 9 jewels. Baba Muhyiddin Hazrat, again, I'm going to recite a Fatiha because of love or reverence to my Sheikh who has given me all this wisdom. Otherwise, I would be stuck at Sharia, not knowing anything. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Inshallah, now let's talk about the Shahadat of Karbala, and this is we are pertaining to the Nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Nur Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And why we are bringing out, because there are 2 reasons. Okay, again, there is a number 27 and 72. If you remember the symbol that is there, again, this is an Islamic symbol. It is not come from Leonardo da Vinci. He copied that symbol later on when Spain was under Islamic rule, and a lot of things were copied, and then he created as if it's his own image, as if he found out it's actually Islamic secret symbol about numerology. Okay. Again, the reason I'm saying is we'll get there. Maula Hussein, before he left Medina Munawara, he was being pressurized by the governor there to give bayah to Yazid. Again, to go through the details of these things, brothers and sisters, I don't want to cover that thing. It's going to be too long. It's already covered in Fanaf Rasul presentation. It's on the same YouTube channel. You can go and listen to it. It covers a lot about the details. It's a 2-hour presentation. The reason why we added this couple of slides here is to go through a different scenario here. Now, Maula Hussein knew very well, especially when Maula Hussein was a young, toddler, and as Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sleeping in the house of Salma, uh, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's wife, and Maula Hussein happened to sneak in, and he sat on Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's tummy. And Jibril Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam came at that time and asked Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Ya Rasulullah, your son is going to be martyred, and he asked Rasulullah's permission, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's permission, to bring the sand or the mud from that place where he's going to be martyred. And he went, Jibril Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, with his wings, he just flipped the wings and got the mud of Karbala and gave to Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam gave that the sand to Salma, and she put it in a bottle. And Jibril Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that on the day when this particular bottle, the sand in the bottle turns red in color of blood, that Hussein is martyred. So, and a lot of Sahabas knew about it. So my point is Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam's hadith and Jibril Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam coming and giving all this information, Salma having this bottle filled with the sand of Karbala. Every Sahabi knew that when the difficulty happened with Yazid, the Muawiyah's Mr. Great Muawiyah's son, took the Khilafat over, right? The drunkard and the womanizer Yazid, he used to get drunk and come to Hajj. And he used to say, I am the better Khalifa than Maula Hussein. Can you imagine that? The treachery and the deceit to which the Ummah had fallen down to. And the drunkard wanted Maula Hussein to give bayah, Billah. I don't know what to say. Now, the point is that Rasulullah Maula Hussein knew before he was migrating from Medina to Makkah, because they were making his life impossible in Medina. He had to, and he was, they were planning to martyr him there, and he went from Medina to Makkah. Makkah, it was at the time of Dhul Hijjah, and the Hajj was just about to commence. I think the 7th or 8th of Dhul Hijjah, and Maula Hussein even moved away from Makkah. And the reason, because he knew that there was a lot of spies of Yazid floating around, and they wanted to kill Maula Hussein and martyr him, and he did not want to spill his blood in the sacred precincts, because of that the sacred precinct should be is not a place for battleground, as prescribed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and revealed by Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he moved to Kufa and going to Karbala. So the point is, the question I'm asking you, brothers and sisters, is, say you are going to an area which is very dangerous. Do you think you take your young children with you, 6-month-old baby, teenage sons, your wives or your daughters, your sister? You think you're going to take all of them to the battlefield? You never do that. You'll never put your family in danger. Maula Hussein, actually, when he was going to Karbala, he knew his end was near. Why did he take the children, wives, and everybody? His sister Zainab, his beloved sister Zainab, Fatima Radhiyallahu daughter. Zainab took her 2 sons, Muhammad and Aoun, the young teenage boys, accompanied the mother. Right? Why? My sisters, there's a deep secret here. Right? When you know that you're going for definite, defeat, because that is already destined. It's not the defeat, it is the biggest success of the universe. Karbala is the biggest success of the universe, but in the eyes of Yazid, well, he got what he wanted, at the big price of the his soul is in everlasting hell, will never come out of it. So the point again is, what I want to bring to is the battle is happening, the pitch of battle is happening, and Mullah Hussein knows very well that Yazid is not after his children, Ali Akbar, 6-month-old baby, Mullah Hassan's son Qasim radiallahu anhu. He is not after Muhammad and Aoun, Ummah Zainab's children. No, he is after only Mullah Hussein, because Mullah Hussein is the only competitor left for Yazid. Because he knows that Yazid knows very well that if he does not, Mullah Hussein does not give bayah to Yazid, that is going to be a sticking point in his total absolute power. And if that was the case, Mullah Hussein could have gone first in the battlefield. And believe me, 22,000 against 72. What do you think is going to happen? After some time, Mullah Hussein is going to be martyred for sure. So if that was the case, the children did not have to be martyred. All the 18 Sayyid children of Ummah Fatima radiallahu anha's grandchildren were massacred on that day. Why do you think Mullah Hussein went last in the battlefield? In Auzubillah, trying to protect his life? In Auzubillah. The night before he told everybody to go. What do you think? The reason, there is a big reason behind this thing, brothers and sisters. The reason is because this is the mercy of the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, of Ahlul Bayt. Every time each child was massacred, when it was Muhammad, it was Aoun, Ummah Zainab's children, his own son Ali Akbar, then his own baby Ali Asghar, then Mullah Hassan's son Qasim radiallahu anhu, his own half brother, Hazrat Abu Fadl Abbas radiallahu anhu, he used to plead to these Yazidis who were after money and power and politics, that stop the massacre, don't come near me. If you touch me and you kill me, the ratio changes, the equation will change. A curse will descend on the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's what we are actually paying the price today, brothers and sisters. So, and I want to, bring this, the slide is talking about, think about it. Mullah Hussein, he's sending Muhammad, Ummah Zainab's son, put him on the horse. 22,000 are waiting there to massacre him. He's going, and they would, attack him from all sides. He would get martyred. Mullah Hussein will bring back his body on the horse's back, bury him, then send Aoun. He will get martyred, bring him back. For a parent to bury a child itself is the biggest burden. To the point Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that if a mother loses 2 children and she has to witness the burial of her 2 children, inform her that she is a Jannati. Alhamdulillah. That is the rahmat of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And here is, the pitch of the battle, Mullah Hussein is sending, he's 56 years old on that day. And he's sending his young teenage, nephews and own son, Ali Akbar, 18-year-old sons, to get slaughtered by these, satanic forces, right? And he is in what state when he's bringing the body back and he's burying them, then sending the next, till he's the last person to go. And brothers and sisters, very, very important. I'm going to get to this point. This is a very important slide, brothers and sisters. Extremely important slide. I want you to reflect on this thing. Okay. May Allah give me the courage to complete this slide, inshallah. So when this, think about it, you're witnessing this incident, definitely not as a Yazidi, but you're just witnessing it incident as we are talking about it. Here's Mullah Hussein bringing one, child after another child, and he's burying them, and he knows he's going to be the last person, right? He's waiting for these Yazidis to have a turn in the heart, so that he said, if you stop the war right now, after killing Muhammad, after killing Aoun, after every child being killed, Ummah of Fatima's grandchild, he would give them a chance. Please stop the war. Please stop the war. They said, no. We want to finish everybody off. Okay. Now, when this was happening, when every child was being massacred and Mullah Hussein was burying each body one after another, a voice was heard from Alam-e Arwah, which resonated in the battlefield of Karbala. Ya ya hayyatu nafsa mutmainna irjai ila rabbika radiyatan mardiya fadkhulu fi ibadi wadkhulu jannati. Though the soul at peace, return to the Lord content for his good pleasures. Enter thou must be his bondsman, his slave, and just enter into the garden. The point I'm trying to make is the Alam Arwa mentioned Maula Hussein as Nafse Mutmainna. Brothers and sisters, tell me which human being can come close to be at the state of complete Nafse Mutmainna, complete surrender when the pitch of Karbala is happening. And I'll add to this thing. The Sufi Ikram, mashallah, the Shuyukh, the Kutubs of Allah, the mercy of the Ummah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, they give a lot of ilham information, which is hidden knowledge, hidden ilm, which is not available outside easily. They said Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam witnessed Maula Hussein bringing the martyred bodies of each of his nephews and child and burying them one after another. And finally, when everybody is done, he climbs on the horse's back and he goes into the battlefield after burying every of his children and his nephew. Just imagine. And looks at and Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam and Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam, Alame Arwa, they are looking at this battlefield of Karbala. And brothers and sisters, listen carefully to what I'm saying. Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam is completely amazed. He mentions to Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam, on the day when Allah asked me to sacrifice you, my hands were shivering. You asked me to, turn your head and then blindfold me, and then, I went to Zabiha you, and even after that, your life was saved, and the sheep was slaughtered there, right? And that is the whole crux of our Hajj, the struggle of Hajra, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam, right? My question to you, brothers and sisters, is Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam mentioning to Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam that he felt little. I kissed the feet of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, for he is the millat Ibrahim, but he felt little on the day of Karbala. Looking at how Maula Hussein came out of this test in flying colors. And he attributed that to the lineage as the grandson of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, means they are a different breed altogether. As Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam is talking about his drama that he went through, and here's Maula Hussein in complete submission as a nafsa mutmaina, going through this, burying every child, and then finally going to the battlefield, and then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepting his sacrifice, and yet he separated from the body. Brothers and sisters, that is the reason it is said that a person who understands, the shahadat of Karbala, and if he sheds one drop of tear, he gets the reward of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam's zabiha of Ismail alayhi salatu wasalam. Brothers and sisters, unfortunate situation, I don't want to say that. I've been saying this so many times. 9th and 10th of Muharram goes, and our masajids are not even talking about this thing. They dismiss this as a political event. Okay, let's keep going. The number 27 and 72. 27 is the day of, Laylatul Qadr, and that is when the earth got connected to the heavenly realm. We always talk about Laylatul Qadr, right? 27th night, the power of night, the night of power and all that. the revelation of the Quran, when the earth got the revelation from the highest of the high, Loha Mahfuz. And when you flip it, 72, it is the number of Shuhada of Karbala. Brothers and sisters, it's not just a coincidence here. So 27 is from the earth to the heavens, 72 is from the heavens to the earth. These 72 souls which came from the heavens, the blessed souls which were martyred on the day of Karbala with Maula Hussein, inshallah, inshallah, Mashaykh say that they will intercede for the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers and sisters, do recite Surah Yasin, if possible, every day for the Shuhada Karbala, so that you get their shifa, their intercession, inshallah. Let me go to the next slide. So Maula Hussein redefined the meaning of love. People think that love is an emotion, brothers and sisters. Love is not an emotion. The divine love Maula Hussein had for his grandfather is not the body love. What Maula Hussein displayed in Karbala was duty without attachment, even attachment to his own blood ties, to his own children, to his own nephew, to his own sister's children. He put the woman of his household in danger. You think the Yazidis were, I think the so-called, people of other faith are much more better off than these Yazidis. If it was not for the Shahadat of Karbala, maybe I would have a Iman of a Yazid. Who knows? So Maula Hussein redefined love. Love is not an emotion, but inhalation into the object of love. The subject inhalates fana into the object of love, oneness. Maula Hussein merged with the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Maula Hussein, who's the subject, he merged with the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hadith: Hussein minni wa ana minal Hussein, Hassan minni wa ana minal Hassan. Wa inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi rajiun. Here you can say that they returned to where they came from. Definitely flying colors. Maula Hassan and Hussein are the leaders of the youth of paradise of Jannah. All the prophets, the kutubs, the walis, the mu'min, the mu'minat, everybody are in youth. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every human being who goes into Jannah will be in the state of youth. And if they are the youth of the paradise of the leaders of the paradise, Shababub al-Jannah, Sayyid Shabab al-Jannah, then they are the leaders of the prophets and the kutubs and the walis, mu'min, mu'minat of the paradise. And how did they get there? By completely annihilating themselves to the object of love. Today's civilization has, inauzubillah, butchered the word love to the point that, inauzubillah, I feel ashamed to say that they say physical, union between a man and a woman, they say love making. And they have degraded that word love, to such a, pleasure kind of thing. Love is divine, it's not an emotion, brothers and sisters. I could say pleasure, or lust, I could say. So how can you make love? That's my question. A few guidelines, brothers and sisters, to get to the kurb of the nur, the meditative state, you have to get there. There are meditation techniques which you have to use, but there are few guidelines. It's just not that you sit there and meditate and you see the nur. And by now you must have seen the amount of hurdles which are there, the five elemental energies and all that, which which you have to conquer to see the nur. Because that's where we are born into. We are born into the world of desires and attachments. Right. So let's go through the guidelines quickly. It is just breezing through the presentations. Definitely love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at the highest level, to Ahlul Bayt, to the Sahabas, to his companions. There's no doubt about this thing. Okay, following a highly moral and ethical life, extremely important. Following personal rules of Sharia. Why I said personal rules? Because the governance rules are not being followed in even Muslim countries nowadays. So at least follow the personal rules of Sharia. If I am drinking with my left hand water and I think I can see the nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, no, you're not going to see it. A simple thing, you have to drink with the right hand. I've seen so many Muslims drink with the left hand. I said, come on, man. Which stone has they do belong to? How can you drink with your eat with your left hand? Right. This is the basic rules of Sharia. Right. The basic cleanliness of Sharia. How to take ghusl. People need know today how to take shower, not to take ghusl. What of the faraid of ghusl? People don't know about it. Oh, I took a shower. Oh, really? Okay. Okay. Following the sunnah of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. External sunnah. People want to be clean shaved, want to look like Salman Khan and Amir Khan and Shah Rukh Khan, and they will see the nur. No, impossible. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam in a human form, he loved, he encouraged Sahabas to have beard, and he would turn his face away from people who did not have beards, even if he was not a believer in Islam, not Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam follower. Halal livelihood. Very, very important. Oh, this is, I'm going to put an incident here. Umar bin Khattab, radiallahu anhu, when he was a Khalifa, he never used to take anything from Baitul Mal even as a salary when he was a Khalifa. Can you imagine the sincerity and the honesty? What happened, one day, it was the day before Eid, and he did not have any money in his house, and he thought, what, let me go to the Baitul Mal, ask for some loan or some money. He said, and he was taking very mere income, just to survive, and from the Baitul Mal, as because he didn't have time to look after his own business or anything because he was the Khalifa. So the point is that he had no money. Tomorrow is Eid. He goes to the treasurer and says, I need some money, and can you give it? I don't have money for Eid, and I'll pay it from my next salary. Look at the honesty. The treasurer says, what is the guarantee that you're going to be alive for next for taking your next paycheck? Here's the treasurer asking the Khalifa. So the sincerity, all that is lost, right? People are running behind the dunya, wholeheartedly now. No death, right? So the dress of Umar bin Khattab, the thob of Umar bin Khattab had 13 stitches when he reached the gates of Jerusalem. In fact, the bishop who was there handing over the keys to Umar bin Khattab, in their scripture it was written that the Khalifa of the Muslims, when he comes, the description of the Khalifa was written, plus they said that he will have so many stitches on his dress. We had rulers like this today, the world would be a paradise to live in, right? And here leaders are fighting each other. Ego, elemental energy. Following a zabiha and vegetarian diet. And brothers and sisters, the concept of zabiha, please go through that. I don't want to touch upon that, and it's already explained that in the channel. Praying 5 times a day, very important. People think, you become a Sufi, or so I can abandon 5 times a day. I have seen Sufia who are Majzub. Majzub are those people who are so engrossed in Allah, in Zikr Ilahi, they don't even know when it is Zohar, Asr, Maghrib, Isha. They are in complete jazb. Jazb means like complete absorption. At that state, going up to pray, making wudu and standing in prayer is an interruption for them, brothers and sisters. And they are not doing that purposely. They are not even aware of it. Such people at that level, they are already in prayer and communion with Allah and Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam all the time. Only for such people the 5-time prayer is not mandatory, because they are not in that level. They are not mad, remember that. They are not mad, they are not mentally sick. They're just absorbed completely. And it's a blessing to go and visit such beings, enlightened souls. They will give you a date, they will eat half of it and give it to you. Your ruhaniyat will go somewhere, elevated in no time. So the point is that being a Sufi doesn't mean, I can abandon prayer and say I'm Sufi and I'm on my internal prayer. I'm seeing the Noor of Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So I'm in such a high state. No, it cannot. Be grounded. Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam prayed till the last moment of his life. Be grounded. Don't go beyond the Rasul. Nauzubillah, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Recitation of Quran, Zikr, Salawat, very important. Deep connection to enlightened souls. We talked about, souls, enlightened souls who are there on this earth right now, who have left the earth, and there is a tomb or there's a mazar, go and visit. You will always get blessings from them. Fasting more in your lifetime. If you want your soul energy to go beyond your body, you have to fast, brothers and sisters. This is one of the biggest blessing Allah has given you. Fasting, not feasting. Remember that. When you break your fast, simple meal, some water, some dates, two chapatis, little bit of vegetables, this and that. Don't increase your, entice your nafs by giving it tasty food, biryani and all that. You are going to lose the effect of the fasting by doing that. Eat to live and not live to eat. There was one Sufi saint in the 19th century. His name was Sai Baba, and in Shirdi, and he was a Sufi saint and a fakir. The people who were close to him used to say that he never used to eat anything. The whole day he used to fast. When they used to put food on his in front of him, he had so much of he was hungry. Believe me, brothers and sisters, he was hungry, but he has had so much of detachment for food that he would not feel like eating food. Detachment at such a high level. People pounce on food. When it is Ramadan and the Maghrib Azan is given, people pounce on food. And here, he's detached. Even looking at food, he's hungry. Believe me, he's hungry, but his detachment of food, he doesn't eat anything. These are the levels where the Kutubs, he was a Kutub-e-Irshad, they went up to. You cannot get there without, breaking your nafs. There is no way. In meditation, one of the salik, seeker goes to a sheikh and says, oh, when I go into meditation in muraqabah, after 10 to 15 minutes, I feel sleepy. Now he thought the sheikh is going to give him another pick, zikr, and he's going to be like, propelled into, the seventh heaven. He said, no, your small intestine has rotten food. That is the reason you are feeling sleepy in muraqabah. If you are in muraqabah and if your stomach, small intestine, large intestine, colon is clean, doesn't have filth inside it, it has to be as still as a lake. The second and a third energy center, the second is below the navel and third is at the diaphragm level. It should be as still as a still lake where the reflection of the moon is shining like a mirror. When you're fasting, there should not be no bowel movements or anything. When you fast 16 to 18 hours, it becomes as still. You have to, brothers and sisters, the energy which is there at the bottom of the spinal cord has to go through each of these energy centers. I will talk about it in the next slide, up to the third eye, for the third eye to open up and you to witness the Noor of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So most of the people, 7 by 24, they are what they're stuck is, what is the next meal, chai, nasta, this, that. Your energy from below the diaphragm is pushing stuff below, right? We talked about it, the stomach pushing it to the small intestine to the large intestine to the colon. And that process is happening continuously because you're eating all the time. And then you wish that energy from the bottom of your spinal cord will go up to the third eye. How are you going to do it? It's not going to happen. So only people who have completely mastered, I'm saying this thing very clearly, completely mastered their organs below the diaphragm, completely subdued and mastered, only they can get up to the third eye and see the witness the Noor. Otherwise it's impossible. Zuhud to the outside world, as we said before, you have to go do your job, you have duties, you have to go you know, work, go to the university. When you go to the restroom, what happens? You go do your stuff, come out. You don't sit there for hours together. Treat the world like that. Go do your duty, come back. After that, you go into zikr ilahi. Be in the world, but not part of the world. Next important thing, be always involved in some charity and good causes. Very, very important. So that will keep you not self-centered. It will keep you as, you know, a generous person. Okay, very important in this path. These are guidelines, brothers and sisters. Next one, duty to the family, society, charity, good causes. Again, without any attachment. Duty without attachment, very important. Don't expect anything when you're doing something. Expectation causes disappointment. The purpose of life is deletion of karma, or whatever we have earned, the sins that we have accumulated, is to delete that and cleanse ourselves and go back into illallahu. First, from the mind to the heart to the soul, from the heart, from the soul into the Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, from Nur-e-Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam into illallahu, into Sufiyat. This is the path. And again, this is just saying, do not work for wages to get into heaven. Or if I recite Subhanallah one time, Allah will put a tree in heaven where the horse will run for 500 years and it still not be able to go around around the around the stem of the tree. Oh, really? So how many trees want to plant? You do whatever you do it for love, for annihilation. Don't do business with Allah and the heaven. Don't count the trees there. You're still connected to the form. Heaven is still another form. The huris of Jannah and the fried fish and the gardens and all that, still connected to the form. It's the extensions of the pleasures of the dunya that people cannot fulfill. I need a beautiful huri there. Maybe my wife here is not that beautiful. So, okay, huri in Jannah. Okay, great. Connected to the form again. No different there. Be a easygoing personality for others, but discipline and upright for personal yardstick. This is yardstick. This is very important, right? Or just because now I've become a great Sufi, don't beat around, people. No. Let everybody have their own independent lives. It's up to each person, right? What they can get up to. For example, I always tell about, the butterfly. The butterfly can fly maybe around 10, 20 feet above, or 30 feet above the ground. The sparrow can fly another 40, feet above. The pigeon can fly maybe 100 feet above or 200 feet above. The an eagle can fly thousands of feet above. So each one has got his own or her own range. So it's up to them. So let people live their lives. Don't go around beating people and say, what, I've reached this level. You're not reached any level. The final level is complete annihilation. What level are you talking about, right? So this path is for the path of demolishing oneself, not building up oneself. So understand that. The more you demolish yourself, the more you don't care. You are within your own sweet world in the bliss, connected to the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and maybe waiting for Jibril from Azrail sallallahu, the angel of death, to come and say, what, hey buddy, you've been late, man. How long? I've been waiting for so many years, right? That should be your state. Okay. Most important, spend quality time with oneself. Lead a meditative way of life, inshallah. Very, very important. Okay. This is just a slide. There's not much content here. Difference between a fakir and a king of the world. The fakir has two slaves under his control: covetousness, which is the great desire to possess, and expectation, aspirations from the dunya. These are the two slaves. Fakir will beat them up. These two ones, covetousness and expectation, aspirations from dunya. There's the fakir slave. The king has two masters. The king of the dunya has two masters. The king is the slave for what? Covetousness, great desire to possess, and expectation, aspirations from the dunya. So you decide what you want to become: the king of the world, the pharaoh, or the fakir. And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's beautiful hadith, "Ana fakru fakri wa fakru minni." You know, if I'm fakr of, if I'm proud of something, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying, right, using the word fakru. If I'm proud of something of my ummah, it is the fakirs of my ummah, and I am the biggest fakir. You know, and fakir is from me. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam say, fakir is from me. Biggest fakir is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He used to tie 2 stones on his belly when he was hungry. Right? What is seeing the form? This is nothing which has just put. Is seeing the form of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the blessed face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Is it important? Lots of people, you know, they say, oh, we are good Muslims, and then you have to ask yourself the question: how many times I've seen the blessed face of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Is seeing him, his face, blessed face? How important is it before I die? What zikr, what type of way of life will get me there to see his blessed face? So my question to you is that, suppose, you know, I give you a challenge that you go to the Penn Station, New York, okay, Penn Station, and I will give you the name of a person. I won't give you his cell number. I won't give you his description of how he looks. I say, go down to New York's Penn Station. There are tens and thousands of people there. Go and find me this person. I'll just give you the name. Do you think you can find him? You don't know how he looks. You don't have his cell number. So, you know, I will always contemplate on this. How do you think I'm going to find Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam? If there are 7.5 billion people right now on the earth, and if I say just a rough estimate multiplied by 4, I say, okay, 30 billion people on the day of Qiyamah. Just, you know, rough estimate, 30 billion people. And out of that, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam is one individual. How I'm going to find Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam on the day of Qiyamah, when the plain of Arafah, the whole earth is going to be like the plain of Arafah. I'm going to find Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam if I don't even know, I have not seen him in my lifetime on this earth. How I'm going to find him? And my question is, when Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, I am the biggest fakir, the question I have to ask myself is, if today Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sitting with his Sahabas in Medina Munawwara, how many people would recognize him? The today's 5-star hotels and, you know, the glamour and everything. If Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was sitting with his golden Sahabas in one of the corners of Medina Munawwara on the street, how many people would recognize him when he said, I'm the biggest fakir? Or we would just pass him by and say, you know what, insignificant in Auzubillah, because he does not meet our criteria. Let's keep going. So we are getting towards the end of the presentation. The state of the world today, the ignorance about my own true self, is the biggest poverty of this world today. People don't know what they have. People don't know the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, Nur Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam exists within them. This is the biggest treasure Allah has given, not the worldly treasures that people are running around. And they don't have the time or the energy to focus and to get there. Hence, worshipping the world and the body, which is shirk, engrossed and drowned in the maya and illusion of the body. What conflict, misunderstanding within one own self. Individuals, countries, civilizations, religion, violence, which is disharmony within my own self. First, violence doesn't mean you go and kill somebody. Violence is the state of hatred or state of having bad thoughts for other people. These are violence, even though it doesn't come out. It's still violence within individuals, within countries, civilization, spirituality. Oh, I'm a Muslim, I'm going to Jannah. I'm a Christian, I'm going to Jannah. Oh, really? Great. Oh, I'm a chosen person. Oh, okay, cool. Self-righteousness, striving to please the Creator to sneak it in Jannah. That's another thing. I'm going for my deluxe Hajj and Umrah. And I'll stay in clock tower, I'll do tawaf, and after that I will go to the shopping malls and have chicken and mutton and beef, and great, right? Hadith of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said that a time will come when going for Hajj and Umrah will be like going for vacation. I think nobody will disagree on that today's Hajj and Umrah is definitely vacation now. What is Jannah? The extension of the material comforts, the big mansion, the servants, the fried fish, the huris. My deluxe Hajj and Umrah, you know, taking me to heaven. What is the solution? Man arafa nafsahu faqad arafa rabbahu. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's hadith: a person who knows himself, he knows Allah. Realize your own self, journey to merge into the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Once you merge with the nur, your life becomes bliss, brothers and sisters. Ultimate peace descends on you. Once you have that peace, propagated positive energy, thoughts, actions to affect the collective human mind and consciousness. I cannot change the world, but I can be the change that the world needs. 5-time prayers, the salam that we do, this is one small topic I want to say. When people finish their 5-time prayer, they say Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, right side, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, left side. I ask so many people, oh, why do you do this salam? I said, oh, there are angels sitting on the right shoulder and the left shoulder. No, brothers and sisters. From a Sufi perspective, what you are saying is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that, Ya Allah, I just finished your prayer and I'm ending my prayer. Before I end my prayer, I'm giving you a covenant or a promise that when I say salam to my right shoulder, all the creation of Allah on the right hand side will only get peace and good wishes from me. Then I turn my face to the left side and say all the creation on my left hand side will only get peace and blessings and good wishes from me. That is when your prayer completes. If every human being, every Muslim knew that what is the salam, the true meaning of salam meant, how many people will be fighting with each other? Surah Yasin, the heart of the Quran, and Surah Ayat 58, Salamun Qawlun min Rabbi Rahim, is the heart of Surah Yasin. A Sufi saying that I kept looking for God and found myself. Then I went within myself looking for myself and I found God. True prayer, annihilation into the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Doing the sujood in your 5-time prayer, seeing the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. That is the sujood that Shaitan did not do. That is the sujood that we should do. And this nur will completely transform us so that nothing of the old self will remain. It is not a change, that 5% change, 10% change. No. Once you connect to the nur, you get in touch with the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam within your own self, brothers and sisters, it is not a small change. It transforms you. Because that is your true self. The 5 elemental energies which is bothering you right now will become the slave of the nur, and they will become your angels after that. Quick slide, just for information. The physical body is in the middle, then the astral body. Astral body is where you have the emotions. And again, brothers, I told you it's not the love. Okay, love is beyond that. It is annihilation. This is the normal emotions people have, the anger and pleasure and all that emotions. That is what emotion is then. But for a true human being, when he's and the for a normal human being, this is the difference. For a normal human being, the pleasures of the body, the physical body and all that, that is what governs the emotion. Okay, so his emotion is coming from the pleasures of the body. Okay, whether he's angry or he's disgusted or whatever it is, that's coming from the 5 elemental energies. The same astral body which is connected to the emotional, this is the emotional sheath, is the covering. For a person connected to the higher level of wisdom, to the nur, that astral body will be fully emanating the nur, and he will not have any bad vibes in that. Okay, the third sheet is the mental body. Again, we talked about the mental, the intellect and the assessment layer. This again, brothers and sisters, once your mind becomes a slave of your soul, and the soul sees the nur of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, then the mental body is not interested in building the mansions of the world, pursuing the dreams of the world. whatever it has, it will try to um, uh, acquire the knowledge which is needed to get to higher self. The next one is very important. That's the reason I put this slide. The causal body. The causal body is the body where tendencies are stored. So for example, if a person is there, he is, I'm just throwing it out, he has some bad habits, say he's a smoker, or he's a drug abuser, or he has some bad qualities in him, he beats his wife, or whatever it is. Those are stored in the causal body, and that is the database from where the day of Qiyamah is going to be, the database is going to be taken, causal body. And for a person who is in the state of zuhud, where he's training his body, his mind, he's fasting, he's doing, mujahid, he's struggling to get to the nur, and in the Sufi states he goes through all these things. That causal body, brothers, this is important, transforms into Muhyiddin, which is the giver of true life to the deen of Allah. He becomes the embodiment of the deen of Allah, because he gets into the state of, once he gets into the state of peace, Salamun Qawlun min Rabbir Rahim, once he connects to the Nur of Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, he becomes Muhyiddin. Okay. And finally, the wisdom, which is the Kutubiyat, ilm of Kutubiyat, which is taking the causal body to become making the causal body to transform into Muhyiddin. That wisdom that we are talking about in the last so many hours too, I don't know how long it took, that that wisdom is the divine analytical wisdom, and finally the soul body, the higher self, merging with the Nur, which is Nur-e-Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Same soul body, if you are the slave of the five elemental energy, is going to stink. Okay, the astral body is going to be full of bad emotions, mental body is going to be having ego issues and all that. The causal body will have the bad tendencies. You got anger control will be a problem, greed of the world will be a problem. Wisdom, you'll have no wisdom body, right? Soul body, you know what's going to be the soul body, right? So the point here is angelic or satanic manifestation, state of bliss or conflict. You decide what you want. Okay, inshallah. And finally, brothers, this is the last slide. I'm again, we started with Kulya al Kafirun, right? Definition of a kafir. So now, brothers and sisters, think about this. Do I have time to label people outside, as kafirs, or there is kufr within my own self, which I have to fight, or I have to overpower or overcome, so that the angelic light within me, which Allah has bestowed, that comes to the foreground, and the satanic qualities subside, inshallah. Right? So, it is high time that we are much more evolved, right? Instead of pointing fingers on other people outside and say, oh, that guy's a kafir, he's following a different religion, I am a Muslim, I'm eating biryani, and when I break my fast, I'm going for my deluxe hajj umrah, I'm connected to the outside world, and I want the best for the world and all that, and I am a believer, but you know what, I'm a slave of the five elemental energies anyway, by the way, but that's okay, right? It's not okay, because if you are the slave of the five elemental energies, you're the slave of the world, and the slave of the world is the slave of the form, and the slave of the form is shirk, and you're a disbeliever at that point. Simple as that. We should have the honesty to question ourselves and decide within my own self, what are the qualities within me which is making me a disbeliever. And that's the reason, brothers, there's a saying that says, if you point a finger on others, that three fingers are pointing back on you. It's very easy to find fault with other people. It's very easy. You can become Jibril Amin in no time. It's very difficult to point fingers on oneself and then self-evaluate. It needs immense courage, brothers and sisters. Immense courage and character to change oneself. Very few people tread on this path. People use the scriptures to justify their stupidity, and they think Jannat is waiting for them, with the fried fish and the huris, Best of luck, right? And brothers and sisters, finally, the resting place of my Sheikh Baba Muhyiddin radiallahu anhu. I would like to recite Surah Fatiha to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to Ummah Amina, Abba Abdullah, Ummah Khadija, Ummah Fatima, Maula Ali, Maula Hassan, Maula Hussein, Ummah Zainab, Shuhada-e Karbala, to all the Kutubs and the Walis and the Mu'min and Mu'minat of the Ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladina an'amta alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Amin.